with Sports Hunters. It's last night.
No, it's up to you.
Oh, I don't care.
Oh, it's doing it. I'd be curious.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it. Miller
Shelter from the storm, huh?
and Moulton.
Yeah, sounds like a song.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Hotline. Goldberg-Law.com.
Yes! Oh, I like
It's up to you now. It's up to you.
I like it!
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. We're streaming as we always are, foxsportsfm.com, and we are broadcasting live many a place, including the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. And some of you who may get us via Facebook or Twitter, you may have to be switching to Miller and Moulton via Twitch TV coming up here very soon. If you're an Amazon Prime customer, well, you get a free Twitch channel. Make the Miller and Moulton channel your choice. Quite an eventful 21-hour period of time since we last spoke. How are you?
I am. I'm good. I'm very good personally, as far as I know. But
You look good.
So do you. So do you. I don't know if we should have something between us.
Well, and I don't know if it would do any good.
No, I don't think it would either. I will make flippant jokes throughout the day. I don't think anybody should think that I'm not taking it seriously, because I think if anybody's heard my tone the last couple of days, it's changed dramatically.
It's in a week's time. There's no question about it.
So, yeah, this is as crazy. I mean, yesterday, when we do what we do, and yesterday I blew it with David. I'm texting David about stuff for the show, and he's doing the FGCU game. That's how out of it I was. John sent me a text directly, and he goes, "You know he's doing a game, right?" And I went, "No, LOL." Then I thought about it. He only sat next to me for 3 hours and told me he was doing the game at least 10 times.
Whole first half of FGCU North Florida last night. It's a Miller, Moulton, and Casio, all right, joint text. And I mean, they are coming fast and furious. And I'm always concerned we're going to get knocked off the air. So every time I see the phone flash, I look at it because sometimes that's a way of being told, hey, we've dropped.
Right,
reconnect, that
right.
sort of deal. And so I'm constantly looking at my phone. But hey, by halftime, you realize that there was a game going on. I appreciate that. Think about how newsy yesterday was. I mean, we move very fast. We joke about the 24/7, and the news cycle. But just think about yesterday. We spent. I mean, this will be day 3, by the way, that our show has been coronavirus/sports, and then just sports. That's where we keep it. We don't leave our lane.
It's got enough. The lane is full.
And yesterday,
I mean, it's a Massachusetts driver in the left lane in front of you going 32 miles an hour.
Yes, yes. I mean, we've got
I-75 on the sports coronavirus front is jam packed.
You know how I look at it? I feel as if when the week started, we were I-75 early 90s. All right. Then I feel like we were I-75 early 2000s. Now I feel like we're I-75 now, where we've got the road about as wide as we can have it, and we're handling about as much traffic as we can handle.
And it's March on a Friday.
Correct. Correct.
But yesterday at 4:47 is when we, meaning you and I, got the news. Unless you did before, because I had kind of been on Twitter at that point. You knew what was coming, not necessarily to this extent, but it was just before 5 when we got the text for the first time that Mark Emmert had announced that there was not going to be fans at games.
Right.
Essential staff, limited family.
Well, and don't laugh. I still don't have an answer. Right now, I think the answer is no. Because the plan is, the FGCU women are going to the NCAA tournament, and I think they're going whether they win or lose on Sunday. But right now, people like me have not been approved to be at the games. Local radio, the broadcast the games, is not yet on the list of what's allowed to go. They're still trying to figure out just how much media they're going to allow. They're going to allow the networks who televise their games to have their crews and do it. But they are between print and radio. They're trying to figure out how many, if any, they're going to allow at the games.
There's so many things from a sports standpoint that we can discuss this because just that alone, hey, I know you want to go, and I'm not being a smart aleck here. They've done radio off of monitors. I know it's hard. There are ways to do it. There are ways to get the feed. I don't know what the right course of action is. But if I'm in the room and they're going, well, what about the radio guys? I'd be sitting there going, you sure we need them here?
Well, and I would argue yes, and not selfishly. First off, we're talking about 4 to 6 people. Each team has its own radio. All right, period. That's it. And on the women's side, there is no Westwood One. All right, so that's all we're talking. We're talking about a handful of people. I think the bigger issue is print. All right, how many, if any, are you going to allow?
And I'm being serious here again. I said this yesterday. I think you and I had this conversation off air, but I mentioned one of the people that I follow on Twitter was like, well, I'll be there no matter what. And I kind of joked to you, I go, yeah, in a hotel next door watching on television because he's not getting in. And I even thought of little things like the broadcasters doing the games. I only know this, David, and you know this. We should be consulted by CBS and Turner right now. They need us. They don't realize it. Because you and I have broadcast more games in empty gymnasiums and ice rinks that we understand what a broadcaster does. There was somebody put out the clip yesterday of it was the Orioles game when the Baltimore riots happened and they played the game without fans.
Right.
And I don't remember who hit the double, but Gary Thorne gives the call, and I may pull it up later, but Thorne's like the pitch. And a deep drive, it's back, it's off the wall. And Moulton goes into second for a double. Was still a shot at the green jacket. I'm telling you, I broadcast a game between the Florida Everblades and the Miami Matadors at the Miami Arena that held, if it's still even up, that held around 14,000 people for hockey.
Right, that's where the Panthers, when they first started, they were playing their games in the heat, and that's where the original rats came from.
Right, because there were rats in the building and the player killed one in the locker room. That's how the rat trick started.
Right, so
yes,
when they scored,
you got to go back to
they threw thousands of plastic rats on the ice.
So I'm doing a game there, and it's a Sunday afternoon, I believe.
What do you got? About 500 people in the joint?
No, I remember my count being around one. I think I counted 139 in the building because I was using the commercial breaks to count fans. Now, when Miami scored with 139 people there and a couple of bells, they could make enough noise, and I'm not getting boisterous on the team that I don't get paid by to score the goal. But you know how I called games.
Oh, yeah.
I hit that sucker.
You were loud.
And, scores! And I let that thing rip. And I remember the players turning around and looking at me.
It's funny
because you couldn't hear anybody in the place. So, to me, I know the broadcasters want to be courtside. If we don't have fans, the broadcasters probably should be up in a suite, maybe a little glass in front of them. Because how do they call a free throw? Because they'll hear every word, David. I mean, there are all these little quirks to this. What the sound we're going to get as fans. I'm not doing coronavirus fear right now. I'm just doing sports fan. The negatives are fans can't go. The positives, what you're going to hear during the broadcast. And I mean, joking with a buddy of mine, he called me yesterday. He goes, Izzo drops 14 F-bombs every 5 minutes. I go, and it's going to be colorful on air.
Yeah. I mean, it really is.
Now, if I'm Turner, I'm letting it rip. I know CBS can't. But if I'm Turner after 8, I'm just letting the filter go.
Okay, but you're right.
They
right.
won't, but I'm just saying I would, David.
Like, for example, the broadcast position for the radio at Alico Arena is they have us along the baseline near the home bench. Well, we're not that far away from the lane, and when they're shooting free throws, there are times in which I think, now that the crowd, is shushed and it's a big free throw and what have you, and I'm thinking, can they hear me right now? I mean, I've had a couple of players this year on the free throw line just kind of look over their shoulder, and I'm thinking, well, they must be able to hear me a little bit. Well, and that's with a couple thousand people in the building, and there's at least a murmur of crowd noise. But imagine what it will be like. I did an FGCU baseball game at the Sarasota Stadium where the Orioles now play their spring training games. And, there were 30-something people at the game. And it was an early afternoon game a few years back. And I'm, up top, positioned right behind home plate. And I thought an umpire missed a pitch. And I said, something along the lines of, boy, looked like he got the corner at the knees, blah, blah, blah. And the umpire turned and looked over his shoulder, looked right at me. Okay? And it gives me a little bit of a stare down. 2 innings later, all right, he calls the guy out on the pitch, and the guy's arguing, and I say, nope, umpire got it right, blah, blah, blah. The umpire turns around, gives me a thumbs up.
Rabbit ears, punk. God, that drives me crazy.
But, so yes, it's going to have a very different look and sound. Mark, that's if
they play.
Because there was a big roundtable last night on SportsCenter. Now, I did not see it. Got home from the game, tried to get to bed at a decent hour to do the show. But it's my understanding that Tim, who's the former Wizards guard?
Legler.
Legler, LaFonso Ellis, and Sean Farnham were having a roundtable discussion. And all 3 of them thought that, it's Wednesday night. They don't play till Tuesday night next week. Yeah, I don't think these games are going to happen at all. They think that what the NBA did by suspending their season is going to put pressure on the NCAA tournament to cancel it. I don't believe that will be the case. I believe that they will start playing next week, and they will literally go week by week. That they will go next week, and they will keep playing until somebody associated with the NCAA tournament tests positive for the coronavirus.
And now that we had an NBA player test positive, the ramifications of that could be ridiculous from the standpoint of the stupid crap that he did.
Well, and 2 days ago, for those of you that don't know, Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz, and I guess he was asked about the coronavirus, so he's sitting at a podium, and he's answering questions, and he gets up and he's about to leave, and then jokingly, he comes back and he takes his hands and he touches all of the reporters' recorders and microphones that are sitting there on the podium. He touches them all, laughs, and walks off. Well, I mean, at the time, it's a joke. He's now positive for the coronavirus. So, and you can, they're talking to you, got to wipe down your phones and wipe down this and wipe down that. So obviously now those reporters were at risk, never mind all the people that they've come in contact with, but also the Jazz. I mean, what does the NBA do? The NBA plays a game essentially every other day. In the last week, all right, they've played 4 games.
Right. He's come in contact with 34 different players.
And they, of course, then have gone on and played their game. So, and that is why I believe, the Pelicans-Sacramento game got canceled because one of the officials involved in the game worked a Jazz game earlier in the week. And the NBA said, well, he came in contact with Gobert. We can't play this game. Especially since also they had made the announcement that after Wednesday night's games, the season was going to be suspended. So they turned and looked at one another and said, well, then why are we even going to take the risk and play tonight? So now people were at the game. I mean, they're sitting in the stands. And they're being told, sorry, this game's not going to happen.
And not told why.
No, they weren't.
They should be able to figure it out, but
in Oklahoma City, the Jazz were playing the Thunder, or they were about to. And not that long before scheduled tip, they made the announcement, hey, tonight's game's been canceled. Now, the PA announcer was trying to say, everything is okay. You're safe. All right? Because if you think about it, you start thinking, well, what's going on? You know, is there somebody, if you're not on Twitter or what have you, I mean, you could be somebody driving around outside. I mean, what's going on? So the PA announcer's saying, hey, the game's canceled, see you soon. Hey, but everything's okay. It's all right, just, leave in a calm, orderly fashion and what have you. So and what I found hysterical is there's a clip out there of Mark Cuban sitting courtside watching his Mavs. And he looks down at his phone and finds out that the NBA season has been suspended. And the look on his face is like, what? So in all the stories that you hear about how information gets sent out and whether or not anybody gets any notice or not, all right, it looks like many of us saw on Twitter before Cuban did as to what was going on in the league.
So the NBA has suspended their season. The NCAA is going to play in front of no fans, essentially.
The conference
tournaments are all basically being played now in front of empty stadiums.
That's as of today, because yesterday games were still being played in many a Power 5 tournament in front of fans. But they said this is going to be it. Beginning tomorrow, it's empty arenas. So as of today through Sunday, the Power 5 or Power 6, because you got to count the Big East.
Absolutely.
And for that matter, you could throw in the A10 in Brooklyn. I don't know if they're also not letting fans in to the Barclays in Brooklyn.
Well, I mean, yesterday it was like a 10-11 matchup, so it was virtually the same thing.
Right. So it will be interesting. I even wonder, and I know most people don't care, but there are certain teams that get in, I believe, the women's tournament because, well, the women's tournament struggles to have attendance, especially in the early rounds. They're fine, actually, in the later rounds and the Final Four. But something like Tennessee's a bubble team. I mean, it's Tennessee Lady Vols. I mean, next to UConn, I mean, that's it. That is, if you think women's college basketball, most people would blurt out UConn or Tennessee. And they're a bubble team this year. Well, I thought Tennessee's going to get in because, thousands of people travel with them. Yeah, not next week. So does a school even get in nowadays? Never mind the fact, in the women's tournament especially, but they try to do it in the men's, in which they kind of think who's going to be good.
No, they've put them in the pods. They've changed
it.
The West region doesn't. They could have a pod that's in Detroit. It doesn't matter anymore. If they make Sparty the 3 in the West, they may put them at Auburn Hills. I don't know where games are, but this is how it works now because they have an attendance problem. They don't for the 1 seeds and they don't for the 2 seeds. But when you get that 4-13, 5-12 set, a lot of the times you get, sparse crowds.
And now you're going to have obviously games in empty arenas, and therefore maybe some games won't be as menacing as they would have been. And as we've talked about, Mark, the last great home court advantage we feel and where it really influences officials is college basketball. Will the underdog schools, will the smaller schools, will the mid-major schools get better whistles, in all honesty, in the NCAA tournament? These games now these officials are not, it's not
influenced
like
by the crowd.
12,000 people yelling at them, and therefore that block charge call, we're going to give it to the home team.
But they can really hear Coach K's voice.
Well,
now. They can hear Coach Cal's voice. They can hear Tom's voice.
Yes.
No, David. I think the little guy gets screwed in this whole thing because a lot of the time the crowd will start rooting for the underdog just out of the nature of it, and they won't have that. That's my theory, but we'll find out even if we play. It is crazy times, and yet there are leagues. Yesterday, this had to really catch the Washington franchises by surprise because D.C. basically announced yesterday, we don't want public gatherings. And the Wizards said, yeah, they did the same thing some of the other teams did. Said, yeah, we appreciate you telling us that, but, Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. We're going to have fans at our games.
Right. The owner of the Wizards and the Capitals, Ted Leonsis, there, he's like, we're selling tickets. Now, I don't know how many people want to come and watch the Wizards, although Bradley Beal's worth the price of admission. But, yeah, we're selling tickets. It's kind of like the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Columbus Crew said to the governor of Ohio. We really appreciate that recommendation. We're not going to abide by it at all.
Yeah, then the recommendation quit being a recommendation by a lot of these governors.
Yeah, but I don't think in Ohio. I think the Blue Jackets, as of tonight, are still planning on playing in front of fans. Did they change their tune?
David,
Well,
it's going
Mark,
so fast.
right.
It's going so fast that I don't want to answer a question like that without looking. But I thought that they were past it.
That's another thing we talked
Yeah,
about.
the
just
Blue
20
Jackets
minutes
follow.
ago.
I thought, follow order to play games without fans.
Okay, so they changed their tune.
Yeah.
Okay, well, but yesterday at this
No,
time,
I-
in the middle of the day yesterday, they were still planning. They were selling tickets for today's game and for Saturday's game.
Beginning with tonight's game,
No fans.
no fans.
Wow.
Well,
And one of the games is against Crosby
It's tonight.
and the Penguins. Oh, wow. Yep. There
and
you
yet
go.
here's when we come back, we will introduce our poll question for today, because there are still events going on with fans. We're going to do something we don't normally do on this show today. I'm very scared about this. David is very excited about this.
Very excited. You have to come to my defense today. I beg of you. If you never listen to me again, please take pity on me and follow my lead. As Charlie
Steiner, give it to me.
Follow me to freedom. Please follow my lead. Next.
They were talking about that on Dan Patrick yesterday, and all Dan said is Charlie really got into that role.
Well, the bandana alone, it was tremendous. For those that don't
Because
know.
somehow they got into the one about Roethlisberger carrying people out, and Paulie said, "Is that the one with Steiner?" He's, no, Steiner was Y2K, and he really got into that role.
And if by chance you don't know what we're talking about,
Look it up.
Charlie Steiner,
Y2K.
Y2K, and
30 seconds well spent.
outstanding. Miller and Moulton. The starting five is coming up. FGCU Athletic Director Ken Cavanaugh will join us at 8 o'clock this morning, and you'll understand why coming up. Thanks so much for listening. We'll take your phone calls as well, 249-8167, 249-8167.
Taking your calls.
Yes.
David Moulton's dream
Yes.
has come true.
Yes.
And if you fail him,
You will crush
you
me.
will kill the dream. The dream will become a nightmare.
It is not.
We'll find out whether it's sweet dreams or nightmares for Moulton coming up later throughout the show as the phone lines are officially open.
It's not just a text line this morning, folks. It's also a talk line.
In fact, if it gets so busy, we have a backup talk line if lines get jammed.
yes.
Look at that.
It's like we're selling stuff. We're Time Life, and we're selling magazines. Miller and Moulton. Starting five is next. Thanks for making us part of your day here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Our sound is a sound that makes you stop. Stop. And listen.
Listen to me and you listen well.
It's a collective voice that calls out to you, the fan.
We get a lot of zany people that call in.
This is our sound.
We're dealing with sick people here.
They're just absolutely nuts. Crazy stuff happens. That's all I'm saying.
And you can only get it here.
Yes, the Nebraska coach did leave the game
On
sick.
Fox Sports Radio.
They came back and said it was just the common
This is a
cold.
special coronavirus update from Wink News.
I'm Wink News anchor Corey Lazar. There are
Oh,
three new coronavirus
the headlines
cases
say
across the state
Oh,
of Florida. Those
so
cases are in
we
St.
know
Johns
it's the
County,
flu?
Miami-Dade, and Broward.
Did
One
they
of those
test them?
patients went
Oh.
to Bike Week in Daytona Beach, an event with hundreds
David,
of thousands of people.
every story
and
I'm
the president
seeing
taking action to
you know how
protect
hard
and
it is
prepare
to
us
get
when it
tested
comes
if
to
you
the
haven't left the
coronavirus. The
country.
president telling the nation he has asked Congress to stop temporarily taking
That's the
taxes
problem.
from your paycheck. He wants the April 15th tax deadline pushed back for some of you, and the president also plans to help small business owners, and he wants travel between the United States and Europe banned for a month starting tomorrow. For updates on coronavirus, trust Wink News, facts, not fear.
Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business in half the resumes. Go to Glassdoor.com/hire to find your next hire. Glassdoor.
The Dear Happy Show.
Brought to you by Hardee's.
We've got Melissa on the line.
Hey, Happy. My kids have baseball practice on Saturday mornings, but it's my only day to sleep in.
Well, break it to them early that they're not going to make the majors.
But I don't want to crush their dreams.
That's fair. Then why don't you swing by Hardee's on the way and get the new BFC Frisco breakfast sandwich with a crispy wheel of cheese inside, so everyone's morning can be super.
Okay.
Call in next time at 1-833 Hi Happy.
Available for a limited time only at participating Hardee's restaurants.
Feed your Happy. The Dear Happy Show.
Brought to you by Hardee's.
Eric, you're on with Happy.
Hey, Happy. I'm applying for a mortgage and I'm debating a 15-year or a 30-year rate.
Forget about the property ladder. Get on the burger ladder.
What?
The new BFC Angus Thick Burger from Hardee's has a crispy wheel of cheese on top.
You're right. As long as I have a good burger, I'll always have a place to call home.
Exactly. Call in next time at 1-833 Hi Happy.
Available for a limited time only at participating Hardee's restaurants.
Feed your Happy.
Hey, this is Adam Botana from Baywater Sousa Boat Club, the only family-owned and operated boat club in Southwest Florida. At Baywater, we have a contractual 10-to-1 member-to-boat ratio. That gives you unlimited access to over 40 of our boats. Whether you're fishing or just cruising, Baywater has you covered. And folks, the water's beautiful, and it's only getting better. And the fish are biting. Come on out. Want to keep the boats overnight? At Baywater, anything is possible. This weekend, we're holding an open house and running special pricing. And no dues for 6 months. That's right, no dues for 6 months. Stop by and see the Baywater difference. Call me, Adam Botana, at 239-495-0455. That's 495-0455. Again, 495-0455. Find us online at bwboatclub.com or just Google BW Boat Club. Baywater, the exclusive club of Southwest Florida.
Listen to the Dan Patrick Show at work.
Never boring, that's for sure.
Streaming 24/7 at foxsportsfm.com. We are Fox Sports.
Live Greyhound Racing is back for the final season of racing at the Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track. Doors open daily at 9:45 a.m. with poker action and simulcast wagering until 2 a.m. on weekdays and 3 a.m. on weekends. Enjoy lunch or dinner in their high-stakes restaurant or check out the daily specials at the Hold'em Grill by the Poker Room. And don't forget to take advantage of the $1 beer, $1 hot dogs, and $1 sodas on the first and third Friday of every month. If poker's your game, you can win thousands of dollars during their high hand promotion giveaways. Their 34-table poker room also features games like 3-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, High Card Flush, and poker tournaments. Visit their website at NaplesFortMyersDogs.com for the live racing schedule and poker and simulcast information. The dogs are here for one more year, so come on out and have a beer at the Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track in Bonita Springs.
Dial star 2020. Friends, I care.
When it comes to cataract surgery, the lens you choose matters. Blurry and weakened vision caused by cataracts or limitations to your lifestyle that you can and should live without. Dr. John
Tweet of the day.
Team of surgeons at France Eye Care.
Tom Hanks has coronavirus. Tom Hanks was in Apollo 13 with Kevin Bacon. You saw Apollo 13. You have coronavirus. You know which means I don't. I did not see Apollo 13.
Bring you the breakthrough technology of a trifocal solution. He's also the #1 PanOptix surgeon in the state of Florida. PanOptix, specially designed to help patients see 20/20 at distances that are near, far, and even in between. See your future in 2020. Find out if you are a candidate for PanOptix today by dialing ** 2020 from your cell or call 239.
That's Nebraska coach with the flu, not Tom Hanks.
Right.
Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
There we go. Bringing it hard and heavy at 6:30 this morning. I like it. Miller and Moulton, that's how you combat the coronavirus, with some headbanging music. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. 249-8167 is the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing, and it's not just a text line today. It's a talk line. Want to hear from you, your thoughts about, well, what everyone has done in the sports world and or what they have not done in the sports world. If you want them to take a step or a further step, 249-8167. But without further ado, it's time for... It's time for the starting five.
Thank you.
The NBA has suspended their season because of the coronavirus and because Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz has tested positive for it. The Jazz have played 4 teams in the last 7 days. As Mark commented earlier, the NBA says that Gobert has had direct contact with 34 players and officials. And because of it, the NBA has suspended their season and no word on if and when it will resume. The NCAA announced late afternoon yesterday that the tournament will go on, but without fans. All major conference tournaments beginning today will continue without fans. Fred Hoiberg, the Nebraska head coach, taken to the hospital in the second half of their game yesterday in the Big Ten tournament, they say with the flu. He was visibly sick on the sidelines. And one of the minor college basketball tournaments, it's called the CBI, they made an announcement yesterday that it will not take place this year. I have to wonder if the NIT takes place for both the men and women as well. I would think not.
I think that is very true, David.
That you're either in the NCAA tournament or your season is over. That would just be my guess because those tournaments struggle to make money as it is. And if you're going to play without any fans, well, I don't see how you're going to make any money. 249-8167 is our number for the talk and text line. There was some college basketball played last night, Mark. Miami's season seemingly came to an end, losing to Clemson in the ACC tournament 69-64. Boy, what a bad year for Northwestern. Remember, it was just a couple years ago. They made the tournament. They won it for the first time ever. They won a game. Northwestern was in the Fort Myers tip-off earlier this season. Yeah, Minnesota beat them by 17 last night. They did not win 10 games this year. FAU stays alive in their conference tournament, as does FIU. FAU beat ODU by 10, and FIU beat Rice by 9. And in the ACC tournament last night, North Carolina's men's basketball season came to a merciful end when Syracuse handed North Carolina their 19th loss on the season, mark 81-53. In Greensboro, ironically enough, Jim Boeheim, who made fun of Greensboro, even though he claims now he didn't.
He should have. He did, and I'm thankful that he did. I don't like Jim Boeheim, but I agree with him wholeheartedly on what a dump the city of Greensboro is.
Well,
and that arena's a dump.
Well, the ACC loves Greensboro.
I know they do.
It's like the corner bar. Hey. That's my corner bar. That's my dump.
You've broadcasted a game there.
I did.
I've broadcasted a game there. That building is a dump.
It's a barn. I will say this.
It's a big barn.
It is a barn.
It's a big barn.
You know me. I like barns.
I do too, but it's a dump. The Toledo Sports Arena was a barn. That place is a dump.
But it's got character.
No, I don't see how that's the problem. I don't think it has any.
Yeah, see,
it's too big.
It's got character.
It's too big to have character.
It's got character. I'm a corner bar, shot in a beer kind of a guy. Well, at least I used to be.
Right, and that's a 21,000 seat arena. That's not a corner bar.
No. NBA, they actually did play games last night. They played 4 of them. They did cancel Utah at Oklahoma City because Rudy Gobert plays for the Jazz, and they canceled New Orleans at Sacramento because one of the officials in the game worked a game that Utah played on Monday. So they didn't want him coming in contact with any of the players. Charlotte beat Miami 109-98. The Knicks beat Atlanta in overtime by 5. And late in that game, Vince Carter had announced before the season this would be his final season. And let's face it, none of us know if or when the NBA season is going to resume. And so last night may have been it for Vince Carter. So late in the overtime loss, they put Vince Carter back in the game, and he dribbled the ball up and stopped top of the key and buried a three. So if that's his final shot in the NBA in a Hall of Fame career, he drilled it. 76ers beat Detroit 124-106, Dallas 113, and Denver 97. What will the NHL do? They're going to keep playing games, and in most places, they're going to keep having fans at those games. Last night, St. Louis doubled up Anaheim 4-2. Colorado edged the Rangers in overtime 3-2. All right. Chicago over San Jose 6-2. Winnipeg over Edmonton 4-2. Major League Baseball. We've got spring training today in Port Charlotte. The Rays are hosting the Phillies. The Braves are on the road in Detroit. And in and around Hammond Stadium, it's a night game tonight. Orioles and Twins at 6 o'clock, so expect the traffic to be even a little more cumbersome during the late rush. The Seattle Mariners announced yesterday, Mark, they will not be playing their first two series of the season in Seattle. Seattle was supposed to start with a 7-game homestand, 4 against Texas, 3 against the Twins. They announced yesterday, considering that the mayor of Seattle said you can't have anybody congregate more than 250 people at a time. And so they're looking at moving the games to Arizona.
Yeah, I saw Arizona. I also saw someone talking about Peoria. I don't know. Is that their trip? That must be their AAA team.
But probably not the best weather. Late March.
I got you. I think it may have been the two series that they were playing. I think they're playing the Twins.
Right, they're playing Texas and the
Twins.
Yeah,
I saw Peoria in there as a possibility. Arizona makes a lot more sense to me. But
I mean, and they're talking about playing where the Diamondbacks play, in which maybe Seattle would play at 1 o'clock, and the D-backs would play their games at 7:30. That if by chance they have to play on the same day.
Right. Since there's not going to be fans at their games, they could play at a spring training park there too.
Well, baseball hasn't gone there yet.
I understand.
Oh, but until they do.
No, I know.
I mean, baseball's got to, we joke that the NCAA had until Selection Sunday at 6 o'clock to decide what it is they're going to do. I mean, baseball in theory's got a week and a half here.
Right. The NBA has just suspended their season.
Well, but they got a player that's tested positive.
I know. Hockey is at a huge problem right now. We've talked about this over and over. Yeah, they rely on the gate.
Oh, very much so. Teams will lose money because of this. If the NHL decides to continue playing but without fans, then virtually every team in the league is going to lose money. How about some football news to make people happy? It's being reported widely in Tampa that the Bucs are, quote, all in, unquote, on TB12. I mean, at this point, can we conclude that Bruce Arians is completely done with Jameis?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at this point, if Jameis comes back, it's because apparently nobody else wanted to play quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Arians may still resign if they re-sign Jameis at this point. But if, in fact, Tom Brady is still open as to where it is he's going to play next season and beyond, the Tampa Bay Bucs are apparently going to be the first ones at his door, 12:01 a.m., and basically, Tom, what is it you want? Here's a blank piece of paper and a pen, and we will give it to you. You know I said this from the beginning. I would be doing this if I was Tampa. And I understand it's probably a longer shot. All right, there seems to be no connection between Brady, any of the staff there, and it's a different offense, and you would think at this stage of his career he wants to run something pretty damn similar to what he's always run. All right, but a lot of weapons. He would sell tickets. He would not turn the ball over. I mean, they're convinced if we get a quarterback in here who can cut the turnovers from 42 to 14, we're going to go to the playoffs. And if you want to give him 3 years, if by the third year he's really not a good quarterback anymore, so what? Be worth it for 2, wouldn't it?
Yes.
They've wasted good money on a lot of other players,
and
right?
And David, of all of the things, now, and you and I both don't think it's going to happen, but you've brought this up, and I think rightly so. the biggest thing you mentioned is that Tampa Bay can't sell tickets.
Correct.
They sell out every game instantly. This is LeBron to the Heat.
Absolutely.
This is fire your ticket staff because I don't need you for 2 years.
So the Bucks are, quote, all in on getting TB12. Of course, they can't legally tamper until Monday. The Dolphins announced that they're going to release safety Rashad Jones. They're going to save over $5 million on the cap. I will say this, and while I am largely behind what the Dolphins are doing, I mean, Mark, they could have had Rashad Jones and Minkah Fitzpatrick as their two safeties. I mean, they really could have. In fact, at the beginning of last season, they had them both.
Right.
Right. And they were both actually, I think, on decent contracts. Minkah was still on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
And Jones was signed to a long-term deal, which was fine against the cap. And they could both play. Yeah. Well, they're both going to be playing elsewhere. NCAA women's college basketball, FGCU beat North Florida 73-57. They've been eligible for the ASUN tournament for 9 years. They will play in their 9th ASUN title game on Sunday at 3 o'clock with fans in the stands. And they will do so against Liberty, who went to North Alabama and upset the Lions 90-87. And so because of that, FGCU is not yet guaranteed a spot in the NCAA tournament.
I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm okay with that. Go earn it. They're that good. Go get it done.
Oh, I agree. Plus, they've beaten Liberty twice this year. They were both good, close games, single-digit games, which FGCU doesn't play a ton of in conference. So it should be a tough game. They played in the ASUN final last year. So it'll be a good game. But did I mention it'll be in front of fans?
You did. Is that we got one more?
No, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
No. But that's also going to be the focus of our poll question.
I don't know, but we got the thing working again if you wanted the sound.
Oh, really?
David, you're doing your thing. I'm monitoring the technical aspects, and that is
the starting five.
See?
5 big stories.
Told you.
Boom. This is
That's
Miller
all.
and Moulton starting five. Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
David, I could have gone this way because we had the person text us right as you started and says, "Can I get 15 stories you need to know?" I mean 5. And I said he considers each sport a story.
Right.
See, and this person just responded, "Oh, I know, long-time listener."
First-time texter.
No, he's texted a lot. He decided he wanted to have a little sense of humor this morning, and I appreciated it.
249-8167.
Call or text.
Yes.
But, David, you did say that FGCU on Sunday is playing the women's ASUN final against Liberty. And basically, plenty of good seats available because they're selling tickets.
Oh, yes, they are. In fact, it's a whiteout, encouraging everybody who shows up to wear white.
Oh, boy.
Well, hey, unless I've missed it, Blades are still playing
Saturday. And Adam Sandler's playing tonight.
Wait. No, he's not.
He's not?
No, he canceled.
Oh, they canceled?
No, Sandler canceled 3 o'clock yesterday
Oh,
afternoon.
I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
You missed that?
Yeah, that's why when I text you and you went, who? And I completely missed it.
Yeah, Adam Sandler. And it was funny because I'd originally gotten tickets. I've since sold them. And so I got an email at 1 o'clock saying, hey, here's what you need to know for the Adam Sandler concert. And then 2 hours later, Sandler canceled. Yeah.
And I guess when I text you about that and you conversed with me, you didn't even say that it was because I'm.
Oh, I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah, at one point
and I was working. So I'm like,
no, that one was before the game.
What, are you sure?
I'm double checking, but I think so. Because that was a personal one to you. That wasn't part of the group.
249.
Time did the game start?
Oh, God, but the broadcast started at 6:45.
That was before.
Okay. Sure, I wasn't busy at all.
I got away with one yesterday.
249-8167.
All right, so the Blades are playing, and FGCU is playing.
Yeah, Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. Yes, Saturday the Blades. It's affiliate night. They're still playing. They're selling tickets. Sunday, the FGCU women are playing. They're selling tickets. I believe FGCU is playing everything. They've got a 3-game baseball series with Marist, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I believe that's still on. I believe softball's playing. I believe tennis is playing. I don't think a single FGCU sporting event has been canceled, even though the state of Florida has said all the students must go home.
And that is the part of this that baffles me. Not just go home. I think they're staying an extra week, right? I thought they told them for spring break, go home and stay for 2.
Oh, yeah. No,
right.
For the rest of the month. Yeah, see
That's
ya.
Florida. That's all the Florida schools.
All the public universities in the state.
Yet, the elementary, middle, and high school students are all still going to school.
Well, today.
It's
Mark, as they say, it's a fluid situation.
But that leads to our poll question. Should FGCU be playing in front of fans on Sunday?
Okay.
Unless you have a different way you want to phrase it. We've been going back and forth.
That's pretty much it. All right. Or, should they even be playing?
Okay,
yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But it's going to be about FGCU. We'll come up with the official question on the other side. I guess that was the unofficial question, but it will be close to that.
Miller and Moulton. FGCU Athletic Director Ken Cavanaugh will join us at 8 o'clock to talk about the direction that the university is going and why. Here on Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Welcome to the program.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I think Luka is just going to be one of those players where you go.
That's why I was saying I missed that. I never saw it all day on Adam Sandler. I never saw it on Twitter. I never saw it.
5 for 18, but have 3 highlight dunks and a block, and we'd go, "Did you see Zion last night?" That's the difference. Zion is a phenomenon.
I'm like, how can they have? There's 7,500 people there. How can you?
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays
I
at
got
9
you.
a.m. on
I
Southwest
was
Florida's
baffled.
Fox
I'm like,
Sports
how can
Radio
you
and
do this?
FoxSportsFM.com.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star
No way.
Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet
Hey, you.
Monday, March 16th from 4
Look
to
what I
6
have in my
p.m. at
studio.
Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Come and enjoy the company of NBA All-Stars,
You know what that is?
including Nate Archibald, Rick
You wanna read it?
Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones.
You wanna come here and
Your
read it?
exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. VIP tickets give you the premium contact, including autographs and personal
Read it.
photo-ops. A portion of the proceeds to benefit the Warrior-Centric Healthcare Foundation.
Can I have my hug now?
Care needs to military and veteran communities. Meet and greet the Legends of Basketball, March 16th at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill, 8990
I know,
Fontana
but I
del
stood you're
Sol
here,
Way,
so I get a
Naples.
hug, and it's a
Don't
commercial
miss
break,
this
so I can talk to
opportunity
you.
to be with NBA All-Stars and Hall of Famers. It's the Legends of Basketball Meet and Greet. For more information and to get your exclusive ticket now, go to NaplesAllStarsEvents.com.
See, that's the extra stuff you get.
Why would someone take a chance on purchasing a frameless shower door from a big box store or an online discounter of an obscure brand, and then try and find a licensed, qualified installer to put it in, when you can deal directly with a local, family-owned business that consults, measures, manufactures, and installs their own award-winning brand of shower doors?
I have Steve
My
from
Shower
South
Door
Fort
is a
Myers has a
family-owned
question
and
for you
operated
guys.
business
Perfect.
and has the highest ratings on Angie's List and Home Advisor. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdor.com.
If you've been denied Social Security benefits, here's something you need to know. The law firm you choose makes a big difference. In fact, Morgan & Morgan wins more than the national average in recovering Social Security for clients that were denied. That means that when you hire our lawyers, you have a better chance of recovery than with the average lawyer. And that's a really big deal. If you were denied Social Security benefits, call us. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Dial pound law on your cell. Pound law, that's all. Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
105.9 Naples. We are
I just said,
Hey, this is Adam Botana from Bayswater Sousa Boat Club, the only family-owned and operated boat club in Southwest Florida. At Bayswater, we have a contractual 10-to-1 member to boat ratio that gives you unlimited access to over 40 of our boats.
Hey, I have
Whether
a quick
you're
question. I have
fishing
a
or just
caller
cruising,
there
Bayswater
that he
has
would
you
like to
covered.
ask you a question.
And
Do I
folks,
put him
the water's
on
beautiful.
when
and
you
it's
guys are
only
ready?
getting better.
We'll call for
And
him, yep.
Fish are biting.
We'll
Come
give the
on
phone
out.
number
Wanna
and
keep
say
the boats
Steve in
overnight?
South Fort Myers.
At
Once we
Baywater,
say that, just
anything
pot
is
'em up.
possible. This
All right.
weekend,
All
we're
right,
holding
thank
an
you.
open house and running special pricing and no dues for 6 months. That's right, no dues for 6 months. Stop by and see the Baywater difference. Call me, Adam Botana, at 239-495-0455. That's 495-0455. Again, 495-0455. Find us online at bwboatclub.com or just Google BW Boat Club. Baywater, the exclusive club of Southwest Florida.
In life, it's best to have options. The more options, the better. But the one-size-fits-all approach is never an effective way to get the best possible outcome, especially when it comes to erectile dysfunction and intimacy with the one you love. The Fort Myers Men's Clinic has successfully treated over 30,000 patients in the network with a 97% success rate. We know better than anyone that a one-trick pony doesn't work with all men, and you deserve
Red Sox
options.
player had
That's why men choose the Fort
coronavirus
Myers
last
Men's
week?
Clinic. We offer many different
Someone texted us
FDA-approved
that.
options to
2
resolve your
weeks
ED,
ago.
not just one. And they're all administered by a Florida licensed medical physician. No matter your
Did
age
he
or
have
medical
the
condition,
coronavirus,
only
or
the
did
best
they?
clinical
They
options
had
to help determine what's
international
best for
player.
you.
I think a guy
If your
from
doctor has
Taiwan,
only
and when he
one
got to
option in
spring
treating your
training.
ED, then
So,
call the
what
Fort
are we
Myers
talking, a
Men's
month
Clinic.
ago now?
Don't trust the one-trick
I
ponies.
thought they
Trust the
they
Fort Myers
basically
Men's
quarantined
Clinic.
him.
After all, 30,000 men can't be wrong. Call today for an appointment at 239-317-7777,
Is New York- did New York-
317-7777, or
I thought New York
FortMyersMen'sClinic.com.
was still in doubt.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Eight minutes before 7 o'clock, Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting live. Many a place, including on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. Please sign up for both. That might be the only places that you can get us here coming up shortly.
The poll question is up. What should FGCU do with their Sunday A-Sun women's final game? Play with fans, play without fans, cancel game.
Yeah, the last one's not going to happen. That I could assure you, because Liberty would protest to the high heavens because it's their only chance to get to the NCAA tournament. And it's a big deal to them because they've joined the conference recently, and, well, they used to own the conference they were in. Now they got to go through FGCU. They're finding that pretty hard. They're 0-5 against them.
And I'm sure you're right that it's probably 99% that they wouldn't cancel it. I don't say never to anything right now. I think it's a ridiculous assumption to say that never is not a possibility. I know it's what everybody wants at FGCU. I know it's what Liberty wants. But on Thursday, to say how Sunday is going to be, as you said, David, it is a fluid situation.
249-8167 is the phone number to call or text on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk
Come on,
line.
say it, David. Say it.
Mark, let's go to the phones.
Steve in South Fort Myers is on the line. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. I wanted to ask do you think we could rely on fans to self-police ourselves when going to the game? If we feel ill, we'd stay away. Or if we think we're susceptible, then we would stay home. But the majority of fans would be fine to go.
Steve, do you think we can self-police anything in this world anymore?
That's why I was asking you if we could rely on it.
No, I first off, no, I don't think we could. And thanks for the call, Steve. And secondly, people don't know if they have it. I mean, Rudy Gobert was just doing an interview a couple days ago where he thought he was being funny and touched every single microphone on a podium.
Right.
He didn't think he had it.
Maybe that's where he picked it up.
Well, you know what?
It's a dadgum good point, Steve.
I mean, probably not. He probably had it when he was doing it, but
right. Yeah, it takes time, right?
Steve, I know a lot of people in and around FGCU are concerned. I mean, let's face it, the women's basketball crowd is an older crowd, and we're in an older community to begin with. So, I would hope that if you're not feeling well, you wouldn't go. I would hope if you're susceptible to respiratory issues that you wouldn't go. But I will say, I've joked for many a year that, if the FGCU women are playing the same 2,000 people, they will show up. They rearrange their schedules around FGCU women's basketball.
Steve, appreciate the call. Thanks very much. 249-8167. 249-8167 is our number if you want to call or text.
And I thought the attendance was a touchdown yesterday. Now, granted, there's not a ton of students. It's spring break and all that. But I thought that the baseline to baseline crowd, if you will, on both sides was thinned a little bit. I thought it was down about 20% just from the naked eye. I got to admit, I did not get an attendance figure last night, and I didn't look one up on the box score. That's bad on me. But it looked 15 to 20% fewer people last night than what I have noticed it to be. I mean, when they've been playing games on their own, Mark, they've been doing 2,600 people. Last night, to me, looked in the 21 to 2,200 range. That's just what it looked like to me. Could have been more. There's a whole grandstand behind me that I never look at.
Right.
So,
well, you can't, because if you turn around, then you're engaged. And those are the diehards. You've got to be really careful there, David.
And so, there could have been 300-400 people behind me, and they had their normal crowd. But I thought the sides looked just a touch thinner than they normally do. But our poll question is FGCU related. 3 o'clock Sunday, they're playing the women's basketball conference championship game. What do you think they should do? Play it before fans? Play it in front of no fans? Or what are they doing? They got to cancel this thing.
I would play it in front of no fans, for the record.
That's what I would have done also. And as of right now, they're planning on fans. Obviously, that could change.
And I may do this, if I were the Everblades, I don't know what I'd do Saturday, because the difference there is that yes, I get it that there's playoffs coming and they're trying to get first overall, but there's no real consequences right now. This is a tournament berth for FGCU. Miller and Moulton, more of your text and calls next.
We are
Live Greyhound Racing is back for the final season of racing at the Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track. Doors open daily at 9:45 a.m. with poker action and simulcast wagering until 2 a.m. on weekdays and 3 a.m. on weekends. Enjoy lunch or dinner in their high-stakes restaurant, or check out the daily specials at the Hold'em Grill by the Poker Room. And don't forget to take advantage of the $1 beer, $1 hot dogs, and $1 sodas on the first and third Friday of every month. Poker's your game. You can win thousands of dollars during their high-hand promotion giveaways. Their 34-table poker room also features games like 3-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, High Card Flush, and poker tournaments. Visit their website at NaplesFortMyersDogs.com for the live racing schedule and poker and simulcast information.
Couldn't find it. I had it up. I was trying to find it for you. I'm digging it. I'm like, I couldn't find where it was.
The Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track in Bonita Springs.
The madness of March is here. The 2020 Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament tips off this week on Compass Media Networks, live from Indianapolis, Indiana. Be sure to join us for all the action from Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, as one of the nation's top basketball conferences battles it out for a spot in the NCAA tournament. Who will come away with this year's tournament crown? If it's the Big Ten Tournament, it's right here.
We are Buckforce.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. LED color-changing pool lights can create an after-dark backyard oasis. Pick your color or select one of the light shows. You can see how dramatic it really is on our website. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard-of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CDC.
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 94.1 Fox Sports Radio. We are Buckforce. Here's what's trending.
I don't know if you've ever had to put one of those on Rufus, but there is nothing a dog hates more than the cone of stupidity. Yesterday I turned on.
Yeah?
Oh, I turned on the other station. I couldn't do more than 2 minutes. what, are we declaring martial law now? Is that what's next? And they were just, I mean, you take the way I was messing with Julia last week and just poking fun at the toilet paper times 200. I was like, wow.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it. Miller.
Shelter from the storm, huh?
And Moulton.
Yeah, sounds like a song.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Yes! Oh, I like it. It's up to you now. It's up to you. I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
As we approach a couple minutes past 7 o'clock, top of the morning to you. How the heck are you? We are Miller and Moulton. This is Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com and broadcasting live many different places, including on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. 249-8167 is not just how you can text the show today. It's also how you can call into the show. 249-8167. Your thoughts on everything that took place yesterday. A significant day in American sports history. The NBA suspended its season because of a pandemic. What does the NHL do? The NCAA is trying to, well, straddle this, quite frankly. They've decided, for now, they are going to play the games, but they are going to play them in empty arenas. There was an NBA game canceled yesterday, literally as the players were on the court ready to play the game. Because, well, one of the players on one of the teams has come down with the coronavirus. One of the officials in another game had spent time in a game. You know, he had refereed a game in which Rudy Gobert was in. The NHL, in Ohio anyway, the Columbus Blue Jackets are now going to play with no one in the arena. Any other teams? I mean, Seattle doesn't have a team yet. They're an expansion team coming in a couple seasons from now.
I think this statement, Royce Young, who was covering the game for ESPN last night, the Oklahoma City Jazz game, last night said, and this was on SportsCenter, the Jazz are sitting in their locker room, lined up in a circle. They have masks over their face, and they're going to be tested by Oklahoma health officials for the virus. Now think about that for a second. I mean, just take a breath and think about the fact that these players are, in their eyes, bulletproof.
Oh, sure.
They're in their 20s. They're worth millions of dollars, damn near to a man. And they're bulletproof. And all of the sudden, because I'm just guessing, the fact that Rudy Gobert did that little thing, I'm guessing guys have joked about it. Because we all kind of have a week ago. It's just human nature. And I know how locker rooms are. And they went from joking and having fun to some of them thinking that they could possibly die, even though they probably won't. I can't imagine how surreal that locker room had to be last night, David.
Well, and throughout the league, quite frankly. I mean, Gobert and the Jazz in the last week have played 4 games. So you got those teams who then, you know, what was that shampoo commercial? And so on, and so on, and so on. And you start going through. I believe Adam Silver did the right thing. I do. I don't know what other choice he had. He has a player in his league who has tested positive for the coronavirus. We all know how this works. I mean, even with the common cold and a flu. You know, I'm not trying to be a medical expert here, and I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn last night. But we all know. I mean, by the time you finally, show your signs or, you've tested positive, you've got the flu. Well, you've had it for a little while, and you have gotten other people sick, unbeknownst to you and everyone else. So I don't think he had any choice. And there was virtually no blowback last night that I saw this morning trying to catch up on a story that was taking place while I was working last night. I mean, have you seen any blowback by anybody in the NBA? I haven't.
And, and this is the funny thing is that just happened. One of the things I follow, Michigan State follow, they put their poll question up. Is the NBA canceling their season an overreaction? Well, dumbass, they didn't cancel their season.
No.
I mean, this is where the problems lie. We take a suspended, it's canceled. No, it's not.
Now, I think there's a decent chance that they've played their last regular season games. I mean, we kind of have to go back to, and I love this baseball season. I wish they would do it now every year. But they had a strike in the 81 baseball season. Now, as it turned out, they settled the strike with almost 2 months left in the season. So baseball was like, well, what do we do? Do we pick up where we left off? And they said, well, no, we're going to actually stop the standings at the moment of the strike. I mean, there was talk, remember, in 94, because the season was stopped like August 6th or 8th, something like that, and the standings were frozen. And as we were getting towards the end of September, and they were having last-minute negotiations to try to save the playoffs in the World Series, and they were like, well, what is baseball going to do? And it was getting so late in the calendar in which it was like, well, basically
the regular season's over,
and we're just going to start the playoffs based on how the standings were. And a couple of playoff spots were going to be determined by a half a game, but hey, dems the breaks. I mean, Mark, if you're Adam Silver right now, you take a month off, and then you give teams that are going to be in the playoffs, you give them a week, basically, to, okay, let's run camps, practices, make sure you're in game shape, this, that, and the other thing. Playoffs are going to start a week from tomorrow, boys. And you just go by the regular season standings. Well, I mean, come on. There's basically, Memphis has got about a 4-game lead.
I was going to say, they actually,
I
think they actually get away with this very easily, because if I'm not mistaken, like you mentioned, the West is already done. New Orleans isn't catching Memphis the way they've been playing lately.
Well, and look at the East. I think Orlando's like 5 or 6 games ahead of the 9th place.
That's what I thought. I was just they're 6 ahead, 5.5 games ahead of the Wizards. Memphis is 3.5 over. Now it's actually Portland. But yeah, could they be caught? Sure.
Yeah, they could.
But
to
we're
be
talking about
seed,
8 seeds?
And yeah, obviously there's seeding that, the fight for 2 through 5 or 3 through 5 anyway in the East, and the same with the West.
But the Lakers are up 5.5 on the Clippers.
Right, we know who the 1 seeds are.
And then the Bucks are up 6.5 on the Raptors. Yeah, there's some other things going on, but I would think that the Pacers and Sixers are interested because they're tied. One's going to get stuck playing the 2, one's going to play the 3. Or one's going to play the 4, one's going to play the 3. There's a difference there. Do you get the Heat or the Celtics? But at the end of the day, who cares?
Well, dems the breaks.
Right.
Blank happens. And so, you could see where they take 3+ weeks off, 4 weeks off, and then they allow the 16 teams to get themselves in shape and get ready for the playoffs. Come on. How many of us, even the diehard NBA person listening right now, how many of you have said over the years, well, the regular season's too long anyway? I don't know, really.
We all have.
We're going to end up with what, about a 65-game regular season now? Is that what we're going to end up with? Instead of 82, they're going to play about 65? That's not so bad. LeBron actually mentioned it a few years ago when they were talking CBA and what have you, in which he said, I really think the number's 70. He goes, can we get this thing down to 70? Which would be 2 games a month for 6 months. Works for me. Cut 1 game off the schedule every other week. Done.
Never happened, but...
Probably not.
good wishful thinking.
Yeah. So 249-8167. Do you think the NCAA overreacted? Do you think the NCAA should cancel the tournament? I mean, why even take the risk? Is it worth it? 249-8167. You can call in at that number, 249-8167.
That's right. That's right. We are taking a phone call.
Or you can text in on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line, 249-8167. I agree with what the NCAA did. As of right now, they don't have anyone who they know of who has tested positive. I mean, you know, even the mayor of Seattle and the CDC and what have you to keep the gatherings as few of people as possible. I mean, you know, you could hold an NCAA tournament game with 100 people there.
I'll tell you what, the one thing that I did see sports-wise, just to move the parallel a little bit, one of the things that was talked about is it's in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Well, you don't need a dome if no one's going.
Right.
And you don't even need the big regions if no one's going. Look, if they are going to continue this with no fans, find the right gyms to do it in. And I know for TV they probably can't because they're all wired.
Well, I'm wondering if it's too late for that. I mean, that's a lot of scrambling. You'd have to start right now.
Well, by what I read yesterday, the NCAA is.
Oh, okay.
They have already announced that they are considering moving from the the Mercedes-Benz Dome to a smaller venue. I would imagine that smaller venue is probably Georgia Tech.
I would as well. They've got a convention center that's right next to the airport there that actually the Atlanta Dream are going to play in this coming season. It's going to hold around 3,500 people. They could have it there.
It actually would be perfect, especially if it's already done and wired and set. That's why Georgia Tech's easy, because from a TV standpoint, these buildings are all pretty much hardwired. You're just plugging and playing. You come in, you don't have to run a lot of cords anymore, and that's labor intensive. And the networks want to avoid that at all costs.
249-8167, 249-8167. FGCU is going as if there is no coronavirus story. And they are sensitive to it, but as of right now, they have made no changes to their athletic schedule. And the most high-profile event on their schedule is Sunday, 3 o'clock, hosting the women's basketball ASUN championship game.
Andrew tweeted at me and said, "It's difficult to believe I'm having this thought. The conference should follow the lead of the NCAA." I actually agree with you, Andrew. I think it should be taken out of Ken Kavanaugh's hands. I don't think it should be his.
And we'll find out at the top of the hour if it was in his hands or he's just the spokesperson. I mean, I got to believe this is two university presidents and a conference commissioner. I got to believe this goes above both ADs. I would like to think that. It would concern me, actually, if I find out that this decision is merely in the hands of the two athletic directors. I mean, I would like to think that with what's going on, this reaches the desk of both university presidents and a conference commissioner.
Well, I don't know how these smaller conference when everybody is canceling fans at events, at the UCLAs of the world, at the Big Tens of the world, and the ASUN's going to play.
Well, in fairness, though, not everyone is canceled fans. I mean, there was a couple of small conference tournaments that took place yesterday. They had a few thousand people.
Yeah, the Big Ten had people, and so did the Big East. It was, right. It's starting today.
It's starting today. But the Everblades, as of right now, they are playing a home game on Saturday, and they're playing in front of their fans. I mean, we'll talk to Pat Kerwin tomorrow. I got $100 says he's going.
I would say you're probably right if he can. I'd bet that same 100. Boy, I'd be willing to bet that I don't think either the Everblades or FGCU are having fans this weekend.
Oh, okay.
I'm
You're pretty confident.
Look,
it is a long time, I will say. It's over 48 hours for the Blades. It's over 72 hours for FGCU, and things can be changed on a dime. I mean, FGCU could announce Sunday morning, by the way, upon further review, there's no fans today, sorry.
And I think it'll be announced before that, to be honest with you, because I think it'll be announced before any parents from Liberty or whatever. I think they should expedite this a little more quickly than, I know you're right, they can do it until Sunday morning.
It's funny, I'm going to fall back on what you said yesterday, in which we were talking about the Blades in particular, because we had Craig Brush, their president and general manager, on yesterday, in which you both used the same line, which is, well, I'm kind of following Disney's lead here. And if Disney's open for business, I may have a hard time explaining why it is I also am not going to be open for business. Please, my wife has a friend who her and her husband and her kids flew into Orlando yesterday and are going to Disney today.
Have a friend of mine in Michigan. He called me yesterday, just, sports guy going, what that, one of these, what the hell, what are you thinking? And we were talking about that. His sister, her husband, and their 2 kids are flying from Michigan to Disney on tomorrow or Saturday. And I'm going, wow. 249-8167. 249-8167. The happiest guy in Southwest Florida today is David Moulton, because we are taking calls. And Jim in Naples is on the line. Hello, Jim.
Hey, good morning. I was just wondering about the NASCAR races. Any heard anything?
No. And in fact, think about it, Jim. All right, think of all the driver-fan interaction that goes on through a NASCAR weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I got tickets to Homestead.
Well, and Jim, I mean, quite frankly, if
Jim, right now, if the race were Sunday, would you go?
I don't know. I'd be on the fence there. I probably would go, though. Probably would go.
If NASCAR canceled any and all of the driver fan events, because you can buy certain packages, and if you want, you could spend the weekend in 3 race series, and you could come in contact with a lot of drivers. NASCAR lets you get pretty damn close. All right, if they canceled all of that, would you understand?
Oh yeah, I definitely understand that. Yep. Yeah, they'd. But if they carry well, that's something too. You're still touching. Yeah, you can get awful close to the driver. So I don't know. It's kind of scary.
If you were NASCAR, Jim, what would you do? Would you race this weekend?
God, that's a hard one, Dave.
I know, Jim. I'm not.
It's a hard one.
We are not busting anybody's chops here. It's what we have been asking for the last 2 days. What do you do if you're running these leagues? If you're running the NCAA? Now, if you're FGCU and you're the A-Sun, what do you do?
And I don't know if there's a wrong answer right now, Jim. That's the scary part. Is I think it's we're kind of leaving this up to everybody, but it is certainly NASCAR is one to us. NASCAR and hockey will be the last 2 that will do anything, because they are so reliant on their tickets and their gates for revenue in the sport. And that's where they're in a room going, yeah, I know we probably should cancel, but you know how much money we're going to lose?
Jim, it sounds like today. Jim, it sounds like if the race was today, you would go. What would have to happen for you?
I probably would.
Okay, what would have to happen in the next 72 hours for you to change your mind?
Oh, I don't know. That's hard, Dave. It's just, I don't know. This is a scary situation. It's hard to make that decision. God, and I'm a NASCAR fan and big time, but I don't know. I don't think I'd go.
Jim, really appreciate the phone call. Thanks for calling. Have a great day. This is
all right. You do the same.
And I probably could ask him one more question, because I guarantee you, just by his voice, 4 days ago, he's laughing at this thing.
Yesterday, I think.
But yeah, and that's
our yesterday. I mean, this really snowballed yesterday. Now, we thought it would start to snowball yesterday, but I didn't think the NCAA was going to act as fast as they did. I thought it was going to get to tomorrow or Saturday.
I think the conference tournaments had everything to do with what the NCAA did yesterday. I think much like I think Craig Brush is going to lean on the Disney, the NHL, and the ECHL president for guidance, and that Ken Kavanaugh is looking to the university president and the ASUN commissioner for guidance. I think the conference commissioners at this point were looking for Emmert to do something, and he did.
There's a challenge from league to league. Here's the problem I see for the NCAA. Next week begins your Super Bowl. Nobody else has their Super Bowl coming up here in the next week or two. NASCAR doesn't have any of these races that are their Super Bowl. The NBA and the NHL, they've got a month's worth of regular season games before their Super Bowl tourney begins. But if you're the NCAA, this is the biggest flipping thing you do. This is the billions of dollars worth of TV contracts, because college football is not under, big-time college football is not under the NCAA umbrella. That money does not go to the NCAA. That money goes to the conferences and what have you, and it trickles down there. This baby is the NCAA's baby. I mean, Mark, this is the PGA of America canceling a Ryder Cup when all the money goes to the PGA of America. This is the biggest thing they do. I mean, they make more money on the Ryder Cup than they do the PGA Championship. I mean, the Ryder Cup is a complete money grab.
And a delicious one for them.
And the only time they've ever canceled it were the attacks on September 11th, because it was going to take place shortly thereafter, and it was going to take place across the pond, and yeah, that wasn't happening. All right, so if you're the NCAA, it's easy, far easier, for an NBA, an NHL, a NASCAR, even a Major League Baseball. What if if they canceled the rest of spring training? If they took the first couple weeks of the baseball season, they said, you know what, we're going to send everybody home. We're going to just, we've got a lot of major cities that are dealing with a lot of stuff. We may have a 140-game season this year. We may actually start this thing in mid-April. All right, and we may have to have an extended spring training where guys get back together and work out for a week, whatever. We're going to figure this out on the fly. But they got their whole season in front of them to figure it out. And baseball fan wouldn't care. It was 120, 140, 160 games. Once it starts, they'd get right back in the swing of things.
NBA fan cares a little because it's the stretch run, but as long as the playoffs start, they're fine.
But if you're the NCAA,
this is it.
This is it.
In fact, someone kind of took a shot. The Big Ten Network starts the early games yesterday, and the announcer started out, "It's the best time of the year." And I wasn't watching, but someone tweeted out, not necessarily the best choice of words. And I just looked at the thread, and people went, well, it's still the best time of year. It's just different. But for the college basketball fan, I know yesterday I saw a freak out on social media. Not Twitter. I went to Facebook, where real people are, not where the media is. I went to see what my friends and people that I know, and they were ticked off over the no crowds. People that I didn't think would have those type of irrational comments did, and I went, holy cow.
Well, and if you think that there is an overreaction, 249-8167. 249-8167. I mean, Mark, I will say both Disneyland and Disney World are open. I mean, think about it. The international travel that takes place for families, particularly this time of the year, the weather ain't good most other places.
No, we're spring break for a reason.
The weather's really good at those two places. Never mind what they have the other days of the year as well.
Well, and I mean, spring break starts next week in Lee County. I think that, in fact, today's the last day of school in Lee County. They're off starting tomorrow for whatever it is. And I'm getting the emails from the school. My daughter's in school. Don't go on a cruise. If you leave the country, you're not coming back. So we'll see what happens with the county during this week off. But it is, as you said, David,
a fluid situation.
Our poll question today is, what should FGCU do with their Sunday ASUN Women's B-Ball Final? Play with fans, play without fans, cancel game. Right now, play without fans is the leader in the clubhouse. Over 56% of you think that they should play without fans. Less than 8% of you think they should cancel the game.
Miller and Moulton. Ken Kavanaugh's the athletic director at FGCU. He will join us coming up at the top of the hour. Your comments about everything that has gone on in the sports world and also here in our own backyard. Should the Blades keep on keeping on, or should they make adjustments in your estimation going forward? They've got about a month left, a little less, 3 weeks left in their regular season. You can call in, you can text in at 249-8167, and you can also chime in if you're watching on Twitch TV via our chat. Thanks for listening. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Let's acknowledge that LeBron is dominating the league. The Clippers are getting a fourth person to defend him. I understand people in the media voting for stories, but it's just, at some point,
defensive player of the year, he stops the whole league from scoring.
I'll tell you who's tired of LeBron, the Pelicans. LeBron's your MVP.
Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at noon on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Nice job.
This is a special coronavirus update from Wink News.
I'm Wink News anchor Corey Lazar. There are 3 new coronavirus cases in our state this morning, including one right here in Lee County. A 57-year-old man tested positive. Health officials do not know how he got sick. He's currently in isolation. The president this morning taking action to protect and prepare us when it comes to the coronavirus. The president telling the nation he has asked Congress to stop temporarily taking taxes from your paycheck. He wants the April 15th tax deadline pushed back for some of you. And the president also plans to help small business owners. He wants travel between the United States and Europe banned for a month starting tomorrow as well. And in an unprecedented move, the NBA postponing the season. For updates on coronavirus, trust Wink News. Facts, not fear.
He said they postponed the season. It's not, you can't say that's a waste of coronavirus and give the wrong God-blessed information.
Here, owner of DR Martineau Roofing of Southwest Florida. I've been repairing and replacing roofs for 27 years. We operate with integrity, knowledge, and service. Google DRM Roofing or call 239-332-1441.
License number CCC 1326954.
For professional roofing,
there you go.
The name you need to know is DR Martineau.
You look that way. You look over here.
I'm Chris Safati from Wink News.
And I'm Lois Tomey.
You're seeing and hearing all kinds of things about the coronavirus everywhere you turn these days.
Just like you, we know there is nothing more important than the health and safety of your families.
Trust Wink News to bring you facts,
I need my table this way. I need my table,
developments in the coronavirus story.
You need to protect yourself and the people you love.
On TV and online, around the clock. Trust Wink for coronavirus facts, not fears.
Ever purchased an online item and either it doesn't fit, has missing parts, or became damaged? Trying to save a few bucks can end up costing more. My Shower Door is a locally owned and operated family business that measures, manufactures, and installs our own brand of frameless shower doors right here in Southwest Florida. And we were just named Lee County's Manufacturer of the Year. With almost 80,000 shower doors installed, we have the experience and expertise. Plus, estimates are always free. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdoor.com.
I'm a busy person.
Catch the show anytime. Check out MillerandMoulton.com and subscribe to the daily podcasts.
Hey, it's Tony. Come in for the best corned beef and cabbage in town on St. Patrick's Day at Anthony's on the Boulevard.
Corned beef and cabbage lunch and dinner specials served with green beer are back. Join the party on the patio with Johnny and Leprechauns, also known as Tiger Blue.
All. I mean,
Check
I think
Anthony's
that's a fair
on the Boulevard.net
question, right?
for info. Anthony's on the Boulevard is the Cape's choice for live entertainment. Karaoke Mondays, poker and bar bingo on Tuesdays. Wednesday is trivia and live music on the patio. Every Thursday, national
Coming with
comedians
songs,
take
Euro.
the stage, then
dropped
dance
the ball
night
here.
away with live music on the patio.
It's okay.
Check Anthony's on the BLVD.net
I know we got
or
another-
like them on Facebook for all the events. Anthony's popular daily lunch, only $9 with free beer or soft drink. Many items to choose from. Plus Anthony's best Sunday breakfast buffet served from 8 to 1. Made to order omelet station and free coffee. Anthony's on the Boulevard, 1303 Del Prado Boulevard South. Sign up at anthonysontheboulevard.net to receive a free breakfast buffet.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Come and enjoy the company of NBA All-Stars, including Nate Archibald, Rick Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. VIP tickets give you the premium contact, including autographs and personal photo ops. A portion of the proceeds to benefit the Warrior-Centric Healthcare Foundation that provides necessary healthcare needs to military and veteran communities. Meet and greet the legends of basketball March 16th at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill, 8990 Fontana del Sol Way, Naples. Don't miss this opportunity to be with NBA All-Stars and Hall of Famers. It's the Legends of Basketball Meet and Greet. For more information and to get your exclusive ticket now, go to NaplesAllStarEvents.com.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Clients love their salt system for silky smooth water, less maintenance, and they never buy chlorine. If you want the ultimate, we can add a BioShield for UV water disinfection. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
Here we go! Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
It's 7:31, 29 minutes before 8 o'clock. Just past the midway point of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. Ken Cavanaugh, the athletic director of FGCU, will join us coming up in a half an hour. FGCU, the focus of our poll question. They are hosting the women's basketball conference championship game Sunday at 3 o'clock against Liberty. And they are hosting it with fans in attendance. It's our poll question. A, yeah, I'm good with that. B, they should play the game, but I don't know about fans in attendance. Or C, I don't know about playing the game.
For the record, Naples canceled its St. Patrick's Day parade for Sunday. I think most of them have been canceled.
Chicago, Boston, and Dublin.
I haven't heard about Savannah, and I haven't heard about New York.
Right.
I mean, believe it or not, Savannah is one of the largest ones in our country.
It's a top 5. Scranton, actually.
Scranton's another big one. It's I think it's one of the proud moments for Scranton.
It was best day of the year in Scranton. Many a time. Okay. I was big on St. Patrick's Day in Scranton.
I bet you were.
I loomed large.
I bet you were.
Very quickly, these are the measures. We had Jim in Naples call in about 15 minutes ago, and we are taking calls today, 249-8167, 249-8167, on all the changes that have taken place in the last 20-plus hours. I mean, the NBA suspending their season. The NCAA tournament will go on, but with no fans. Beginning today, all conference tournaments, all major conference tournaments will take place with no fans. The CBI tournament was already been postponed for this season. But NASCAR, we were asked, what have you heard about NASCAR? Well, as of yesterday, Mark, here's the changes that NASCAR made. Basically, they're not going to hold meetings in enclosed places. I mean, if there's any kind of a meeting that's going to take place, a driver's meeting, a track services meeting, they're all going to take place in open-air locations.
Okay.
They're really going to restrict access to team haulers. It's going to be only necessary personnel. I mean, I will say as a member of the media, you could just walk right up to a hauler, bang on the door. I mean, I ambushed Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon, that way a few times. They're not crazy about it, but you can do it. Driver appearances now. Drivers are to be made visible in an open-air setting such as Q&As, but they're encouraging drivers to pre-sign items. Bring your own Sharpie, and they're recommending that hero cards should be the primary form of all autographs. Kind of like, here's my picture. Here you go. Those big coasters, if you will. Here you go. Thanks for being a fan type deal. They are going to provide a 6-foot buffer for all pre-race and post-race activities, with driver introductions and or, victory lane, a 6-foot buffer around all stages.
So you were a buffer. Yeah, Bob's got a lot of buffers. Sorry.
They claim to be in close contact with the CDC. They've also brought certain health officials and medical personnel on site so that if anybody is showing symptoms that are in line with the coronavirus, that they are handled in a certain way and they're handled immediately. So that's NASCAR's changes effective yesterday. Believe they're in Atlanta this weekend and then Homestead?
I believe that's right.
I think it's Atlanta this weekend.
I know it's Atlanta this week.
And then Homestead. So there you have it for Jim in Naples and the other NASCAR fans.
Yeah, then the Dixie Vodka 400 will be run at Homestead.
Like I know Ross Chastain was supposed to be coming through town and making media appearances this week, and I'm pretty sure they all got canceled because of this. 249-8167. 249-8167. And I believe we had a caller call in to say that New York has canceled St. Patrick's Day as well.
Okay, all right.
So thanks for that. I will say I kind of it's around dinner time yesterday to about 11 o'clock last night. I kind of lost touch with the world. Doing the
and I was trying to pay attention, but there's a lot going on. And to be honest, I've got Boston University and Colgate going on, David, and
and I understand. I really
think that's the America East, is it?
It was an upset, right? Didn't
BU won?
Yeah, 64-61.
Right,
big upset.
So there was that too.
Yep, no question about it. And will they play? Like you and I have a friendly little bet here. If the Blades are playing with fans on Saturday, which right now they still are, I believe Pat Kerwin will be there. Like I jokingly said to you, I got $100. Says he's at the game. I
wouldn't take that bet.
Okay, right now. Do you think the NCAA tournament's going to happen, yay or nay? I do, because it's their Super Bowl. There is an unbelievable amount of money involved in this.
As of right now, I think it's going to be played. I wouldn't say let me ask you in a different way, since we love to gamble.
Yes.
What would you put the odds of the tournament being canceled at? 5 to 1, 3 to 1.
Exactly what I was thinking. It's right where I was thinking, because there's still plenty of time.
Right.
They've got until 6 o'clock Sunday. They really do.
Well, David, theoretically, they have until the tip Tuesday. They could do Selection Sunday if things keep changing. And we've made the joke; it's a fluid situation. But if this reaches people's worst fears, they could cancel it till Tuesday. Every day it's getting worse. We will see reactions get more worse.
The reason why I say 6 o'clock on Sunday is the NCAA provides all the transportation for the NCAA tournament. And so they are lining up charter flights for early on Monday for the 4 teams headed to Dayton, and then early on Tuesday for the 4 teams headed to Dayton to play in the Tuesday-Wednesday games. So that's why I think, even though, as you mentioned, they can always at the last minute. We don't have a problem with the NBA suspending their season just from a sports standpoint. Obviously, the coronavirus is a completely different issue because they've still got plenty of time here. The playoffs are a month away from starting. Let me ask you this. Never mind how logistically it would be a nightmare for CBS and Turner. It really would, to push this sucker back. But do you think that they could play this in a month? Do you think
I thought we got to
suspend essentially college basketball and pick it up when the NBA, in theory, could pick up their playoffs? Could this become mid-April madness? Would it work?
In theory, yes. Someone did text, and I thought this was a great point earlier in the show, that if they canceled or postponed it for a month, how many players who were getting ready for the draft in that month would say, well, I'm done with this college stuff. I'm now focusing on getting myself ready for the NBA draft. And I do think that would be a legitimate concern for some players. Could you still get away with having the tournament? Absolutely. Would you have every player on every team in the tournament? I don't think so.
Well, and you also have those who had planned to play in the NCAA tournament and then effectively stopped going to class. Okay, and now they'd have to go back to class for a few weeks, and you wonder whether or not certain guys maybe might be academically ineligible.
It depends on when this term ends.
Yeah,
because if they quit going the whole term, they just had to pass in December, right? I think that's the way the slippery rules work.
Unless you're doing quarters, right?
Right.
Like at Ohio State, they do quarters. I mean, who knows? Could come back to haunt you.
Yeah, I don't think they have any lottery players.
249-8167. Hey, you don't have to be a lottery player to decide to stop going to class. There's many of us who did the 5-year plan. 249-8167. 249-8167 to call or text in on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line.
Opening day. Start on time?
In baseball?
Yep.
No. I don't think so. And I don't think it's, right now there's not a major league player who has tested positive for the coronavirus, not that I know of. There was a Red Sox player at the beginning of spring training who came here, I think, from Taiwan, and I believe he was monitored. I don't know if they called it quarantine, but they monitored him. I don't believe he ended up testing positive. So, but Mark, here's my concern. It's the cities. I mean, couldn't you see where governors and mayors would ask of Major League Baseball, hey, can you guys just chill out for a little while? We're not quite ready for this, if you know what I mean. We got a few other things going on. Never mind the fact that I don't know if you're going to get as many people going to your games as you'd like. You might have to have a few day-night doubleheaders from mid-May to mid-September, if you know what I mean.
Could we have a few Twilight doubleheaders
I miss the old Twilight doubleheaders.
I do too. The players, the PGA Tour issued this statement yesterday. The PGA Tour is aware of the rapidly changing developments regarding COVID-19. With the information currently available, the players will continue as scheduled, although we will absolutely continue to review recommendations from the CDC, the World Health Organization, and local health administrations. This is obviously a very fluid situation, David, that requires...
Did they really say that?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
That requires constant review, communication, and transparency. We are dedicated to all three aspects. The tour will provide a digital update by noon on Thursday. In the meantime, players in the field have been notified to be prepared to play round one as scheduled. Fans who no longer wish to attend the Players' Championship may request a refund or exchange. The details on how to do so will be announced shortly. They were getting a lot of heat in the Twitterverse yesterday because, they had I think it's the Chainsmokers did a concert, and they've gone all out for this players. I've mentioned this a few times.
This is their biggest event.
Right, and they have really tried to make this a much more interactive event and tried to do a lot more outside of just watching golf to increase the fan participation in this. So, as we said, golf still going on. Florida not shutting down for anything. Spring training still going on. Disney still going on. Everblade still going on. FGCU women still going on. Naples St. Patrick's Day Parade canceled. I'm making a little bit of light here, but when I grew up, when we'd have school closures for snow.
Sure.
Pinconning and Standish, Michigan are about 45 minutes to an hour from my hometown. And there was Pinconning St. Michael's and Linwood St. Anne's. And that was always the start. Those were the first two
to go.
Every time. You'd see the scroll.
They would top
school closings, and it would go Pinconning St. Michael's, Linwood St. Anne's. And we'd go, all right, here we go.
Game on.
Here we go. It's coming. And being a Catholic school kid, where a lot of, we commuted a little bit more in carpools, we were always ahead of the township schools. If we got Hemlock or we got Swan Valley or Freeland out, we're like, come on, baby, we're next. Yeah. We're next.
I was in one of those school districts. We were one of the last to cancel.
And we were early, and I loved it.
I went many a time trekking through the snow, and my mom was all for it. She's like, get out of the house.
Darn right.
Because her school district, which was in a different county that she was the school nurse in, they canceled for virtually nothing. So she was like, listen, I know I'm going to work. You better be going to school. Miller and Moulton. Today was the day when, coming up, Ken Cavanaugh, the athletic director of FGCU. Right now, everything is status quo at FGCU with all their sports. We'll talk to the AD about that coming up at the top of the hour here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Drive home with the Doug Gottlieb Show.
What'd you think?
John
Live by
just
the three, die by the three wasn't
this
a
thread
cliche,
by Scott Goldberg.
Are you guys going to send me the song?
Oh, yeah.
People are unfair in their critique.
Just send it. Sorry, I didn't hit send. That should be long enough to get me through the whole thing.
Or didn't play any defense. The Clippers, it was a layup fest.
Doug Gottlieb, afternoons at 3 on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is Mark Miller for Tim Tracing Motors, and I'm with Wes Dobbins, a very satisfied Tim Tracing Motors customer.
Thanks, Mark. Over the past 20 years, my family and I have purchased at least 17 vehicles from Tim Tracing Motors. Everything from Beamers to town cars to Cadillacs to cars for our kids to the Toyota Avalon and Highlander that we currently own. We've always been impressed by the thoughtful, straightforward way that Tim and Matt do business. We especially appreciate that they're so picky about the quality of cars that they bring to the market. They have always stood behind their cars, and that's why we'll continue to be loyal Tim Tracing Motors customers.
Well, there you have it. Visit online at timmotors.com. That's timmotors.com, or call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275-7900. At Tim Tracing Motors, they are confident when you meet them, you'll agree that you've never been to a dealership like theirs before. Visit online at timmotors.com. That's timmotors.com, or call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275-7900.
No matter where you're boating, with Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local Towboat US companies in Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. And new member specials are running all year. Call 239-945-1664 for more information, or visit towboatuscapecoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water.
Good.
We're on the phone with our good friend
agent
Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples. TJ, we hear you've added several new colors of Core-Tec to your great lineup of products at the store. Tell us more about that.
We just ordered 5 new colors of Core-Tec for our stock. All nice, light, beautiful colors for Southwest Florida. That'll bring our total of 55 colors of Core-Tec in stock every day for purchase and take home.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tec that you also have other Core-Tec products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tec Stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tec, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tec wood, look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
Contact Miller and Moulton anytime. Call me Daddy. Save the Williamson Brothers Marine text and talk line to your contacts.
Oh, it's got it better than us!
239-249-8167.
We are Fox Sports!
You own a home with a tile or shingle roof? You live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island? Hello, I'm Jimmy Williamson with Williamson Brothers Roofing. If you answered yes to either question, it's very likely your roof suffered damage from Hurricane Irma that's not visible from the ground, and you may very well be entitled to a new roof for little or no money out of pocket. But you only have a 3-year window to make a claim, and time is running out. If you have a tile or shingle roof and live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island, call us at 239-283-2013. It's a free, no-obligation inspection that can benefit you in the form of a new roof. Williamson Brothers Roofing, we deal with the insurance carrier for you. Call us at 239-283-2013. Again, time is running out. Call us at 239-283-2013. Williamson Brothers Roofing specializes in the claims process. We have experts standing by. We get claims approved. 239-283-2013.
Yeah. Why would someone take a chance on purchasing a frameless shower door from a big box store or an online discounter of an obscure brand, and then try and find a licensed, qualified installer to put it in, when you can deal directly with a local, family-owned business that consults, measures, manufactures, and installs their own award-winning brand of shower doors? My Shower Door is a family-owned and operated business and has the highest ratings on Angie's List and Home Advisor. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdoor.com.
Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Ten minutes before 8 o'clock, Thursday edition of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. FGCU Athletic Director Ken Cavanaugh to join us coming up after the top of the hour. Yesterday we talked with Everblades President and General Manager Craig Brush about his organization's plans going forward in dealing with the coronavirus and the crowds at Hertz Arena. Adam Sandler was the one that canceled his event that was scheduled for tonight at Hertz Arena. If there's anyone with the Blades organization that has information different from what I'm about to say, please let us know. You can text in at 249-8167 or call in, for that matter, at 249-8167. But it's our understanding, Blades with a home game on Saturday night, everything's status quo. They're going to play. They're going to play with fans in attendance. Same with FGCU. They've got baseball games, softball games, tennis matches, and they've got a women's championship basketball game Sunday at 3 o'clock. It's our poll question. Should they play? Should they play with fans, without fans, or not play at all? That's the poll question.
But, we got certain things to do today.
Yeah.
And there's certain times for certain things, and it's time now for
Miller and Moulton's Today Was the Day When, giving you the history of today's date so you're a beacon of useless knowledge around the office.
Useless, but a lot of fun to talk about.
This is Today Was the Day When, Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
David, today in 1894, Pittsburgh issues free season tickets for ladies on Tuesdays and Fridays.
It's not a bad idea. 125 plus years later, that's not a bad marketing idea.
It really isn't. 1894, for the first time, you could get a Coca-Cola in a glass bottle.
Have a Coke and a smile?
That's darn right. 1912, the Girl Scouts form in Savannah, Georgia. 1933, FDR conducts his first fireside chat. 1965, most of us wouldn't even know this song if it wasn't for Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Wooly Bully was released by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. I just really wanted to get that name out of the band without getting it wrong.
That's all right. And many of us are now going to have that song in our head for the rest of the day.
Fantastic.
Wooly Bully.
66, Bobby Hall scores his 51st of the season, setting a new record. 67, one of the biggest bomb albums ever. The Velvet Underground releases The Velvet Underground and Nico. It didn't sell but like 30,000 copies, yet 40 or 50,000 bands formed just because of that one album. 1970, the U.S. lowers their voting age from 21 to 18. We're listening to a little Allman Brothers because it was today in 1971 and tomorrow they would play the Fillmore East. And the great album Live at the Fillmore East would come from those two epic shows. Gordie Howe would retire today in 1972 after 26 seasons.
No, he wasn't serious.
Exactly. 1973, Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In last airs on NBC. The peaceful John Lennon made headlines today in 1974 at the Troubadour Club in L.A. He was out on a drinking binge with Harry Nielsen, and they showed up at the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour and got thrown out, being forcibly removed. After hurling insults at the two, Lennon would then punch the Smothers Brothers manager in the face before leaving. 1990, the LA Raiders announced their return to Oakland. And I saw this and it just makes me cringe. And it's got to make anybody from Cleveland cringe. It was today in 1993 that the great rock station, WMMS, was bought by Disney. If that didn't signal the near end of rock and roll, I don't know what would.
Yeah, really.
Animated film Ice Age was released today in 2002.
Make us all feel a little older?
No kidding. And it was a year ago that we found out that Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin would be part of the federal prosecuted case towards U.S. college admissions. So next year when we do this, I wonder what event will have been canceled today.
Oh, yeah.
2020.
Well, the whole NBA.
Well, I was technically yesterday.
Right.
So there'll be one for today. If you were born today, you share your birthday with Jack Kerouac, writer of On the Road. Indy 500 Indy driver Johnny Rutherford, born today in 1938. Al Jarreau, born in 1940. David, play the order of these three, all born 1 year apart. Liza Minnelli, was waiting for an I Love Broadway. Mitt Romney, and Sammy the Bull Gravano. Could you get three more polar opposite people?
My goodness. I'll go Sammy the Bull, Liza, Mitt.
You are correct. 45, 46, and 47, respectively. James Taylor, born in 1948.
I love Broadway.
Thank you, David. The person who should be in the Hall of Fame, named Dale Murphy, was born today in 1956.
You got that right.
As was Steve Harris, the bass player for Iron Maiden, their primary songwriter. The Sweet Swing of Darryl Strawberry. He was born today in 1962. Steve Levy, born today in 1965. Dante Hightower is celebrating his 30th birthday today, as is wide receiver Marvin Jones. And that is, today was the day when, on this March the 12th.
There are a lot of people in the industry that think Steve Levy is going to end up as the new voice of Monday Night Football.
How about, we didn't even really talk about the trade that didn't happen.
Well, as of now, NBC said to ABC, yeah, we're not interested in trading Al Michaels. Got a lot of time left. Things can be worked out. It's all I'm saying. NBC's probably looking for a little something. You got to give us some programming. I mean, let's face it. Programming is king right now. It's never been worth more.
What would an Al Michaels get you?
What wouldn't he get you? You're trying to put a face on Monday Night Football. Right now, you got Joe Tessitore. What do you think Al Michaels is worth if you're stuck with Joe Tessitore?
I'm asking you a question. You love this stuff. This is the behind-the-scenes stuff that because I have no idea we often talk broadcasters we don't think are worth that much, but then there's Al Michaels, who's the guy that's on top right now.
Right. Listen, in all honesty, if I'm NBC, you know what I want? I want the first 2 days of the Masters. You want Al Michaels? Now, the Masters would be like, what?
Yeah. I don't think you can trade the Masters.
I understand.
I think that's in the Masters clause. They have no trade clause, David.
Yeah, they do set the clauses over there.
Just telling you.
Hooking up words and phrases and clauses. They set them all there. Yes, they do. Ken Cavanaugh, the AD of FGCU, he will join us next. Thanks so much for listening to Miller and Moulton on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox. If you needed heart surgery, who would you call? A doctor who's done it every day, or a doctor who's done it once a year? The same is
true. You don't have a Cam Neely, use whatever you got around the house.
At the Fort Myers Men's Clinic, our Florida physicians.
It's a highly underrated commercial.
It is. High blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, prostate cancer, these all contribute to your ED. And physicians at the Fort Myers Men's Clinic know how to solve your problems. We have over 50 different custom formulations tailored just for you.
Folks, we're not going anywhere.
Medication containing FDA-approved ingredients right in our office. Your total cost for the consultation, test dose, testosterone, and PSA test is only $99. If the test dose doesn't work, you pay us nothing. So you have absolutely nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Call now. 239-317-7777. That's 239-317-7777. And move from skeptic to believer. 317-7777, 317-7777, or online at FortMyersMen'sClinic.com.
The madness of March is here. The 2020 Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament tips off this week on Compass Media Networks, live from Indianapolis, Indiana. Be sure to join us for all the action from Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis as one of the nation's top basketball conferences battles it out for a spot in the NCAA tournament. Who will come away with this year's tournament crown? If it's the Big Ten tournament, it's right here.
We are Fox Sports.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper's Sports Bar.
Well, really mess with that dog, David. We could just do that one whole break, is walk back and forth and pass each other on the stairs. He'd lose his mind.
Access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. A portion of the proceeds to benefit veterans.
Oswald the Friendly Rabbit, of course. The hell are you talking about?
Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Get your tickets at NaplesAllStarEvents.com.
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 103.3 Fox Sports Radio. We are Fox Sports. Here's what's trending now. Brought to you by the Center for Men's Health. C4MH.com.
Three.
Oh, only 5 of them today. Or Rutledge.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning. Are you? Yep, that's it. Miller,
Shelter from the Storm, huh?
and Moulton.
Yeah, sounds like a song.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Hotline.
Got your caller.
Thank
you.
Yes! Oh, I like it. It's up to you now. It's up to you. I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
And as we approach a couple minutes past 8 o'clock, top of the morning to you. Hope you're having a great day and your week's going well for that matter as well. We are Miller and Moulton. This is Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. We stream this and every show on the station at foxsportsfm.com, and we are broadcasting live many a place, including on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. And for those of you that follow us on Facebook and Twitter, you're probably going to have to make your way over to Twitch TV here coming up very, very shortly. He's been the athletic director at FGCU for over a decade. He's Ken Cavanaugh, and he's kind enough to join us on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Law Firm hotline, goldberg-law.com. Ken, good morning. Thanks for your time. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
It's the focus of our poll question today that you guys are going ahead, as are the Everblades, with your regularly scheduled programming, if you will. First off, is this your decision, the women's final, 3 o'clock on Sunday, or is this something that was handled at the conference level and with the university presidents?
No, it was handled all collectively with us. I had conversations over the last several days with Commissioner Gumbart in regards to his perspective, which was very similar to ours. And as well, I certainly take daily leadership from Dr. Martin, and he's been in the trenches on this as well. So it just so happened there was a university meeting yesterday that I was attending that Dr. Martin was just explaining how the university is handling things. And a few hours later, the state university system edict came down in terms of putting classes online in the very near future. So we've had a lot of dialogue over the last 24, 48, 72 hours. And as it goes by, something new's into the equation, and we keep factoring that as we move forward.
Ken, is there a drop dead date if things were to change? I mean, if we already passed the point where you can't go with no fans or you can't make any new decisions, or is really that goes all the way almost until Sunday?
Yeah, I would say it does. I mean, I don't think, you always want to leave flexibility in any decision-making, but at this particular juncture, based on the information at hand, we feel comfortable that having the game like we did last night in normal scenarios, if this is still normal, is in the best interest of anybody who wants to come. And that's the key. Nobody has to come. We've been very understanding to some of our fans who maybe bought tickets in advance and just said, hey, I'm not sure, and we've certainly refunded. So, but I had a lot of people who I saw after the game as they were leaving the arena who were very excited to hear that we were going to try to be able to play with fans again on Sunday. So, again, this is subject to change, but at this particular juncture, we're looking forward to hopefully another nice environment like we had last evening.
All right, just want to review. So if somebody has bought a ticket, because you can purchase your playoff package in advance, and obviously the plan with the women is they play all 3 games, but if they decide that for whatever reason that they're not going to go on Sunday, you are going to refund tickets.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure and get that out there. I know nobody likes to deal in hypotheticals, but if Northern Alabama had won instead of Liberty, you could argue Sunday's game, I mean, FGCU would have already been in the NCAA tournament. North Alabama would have already been relegated to the WNIT. Would the game have been in question if Northern Alabama had won, or was this game going to be played no matter the outcome of that game?
It was definitely up for discussion. It became a moot point, obviously, but no, it definitely would have been discussed. And I don't know what the final answer would have been. I would assume the North Alabama team and program would have liked to have played because for sure they have no other opportunity. And I even heard a little bit with some of our own student athletes last night, where there was some comment like, well, if North Alabama wins, we don't have to play. And they're like, hey, we want to play. This is about competition. So it was up for discussion. Where it would have landed, no one knows, and it's not a point at this particular juncture.
Ken, when you're sending the students home and telling them to stay home for another week, explain the rationale of then student athletes having to participate in games in front of fans. That would be the question I would have if I was a parent of one of those kids. That would be the call I'd be making to you, Ken, if you know what I mean.
Well, sure. No, that's a very fair question. And there's 2 things first and foremost. One, the university is open for normal business, and they are encouraging people if they wanted to go home to go home. There's some kids that can't go home. They're foreign student athletes or foreign students that don't have a place to go. We have, a number of individuals that are in housing on scholarships that are homeless. Where would these kids go? So the university is still trying to create a very overall comforting environment. And for our student athletes or for staff members, for that matter, if I got a call from somebody and said, hey, we're going home, they're going to go home. We're not going to force people. On the other hand, I had a coach call me last night who had a student athlete call them in tears, hearing that we were going to cancel the rest of the season for our spring sports like the Ivy League did. So, there's discussions on both sides of that equation that we're all trying to put in to make the best overall decisions. But no, we certainly aren't requiring anybody. But at the same time, the university is open for normalcy, both in terms of housing. The only thing that's changed is there's a transition to how classes are going to be conducted. They're going to be conducted for at least a temporary period online.
And I'm not asking you to speak on behalf of the commissioner of the conference, but the ASUN has not canceled any seasons or any sports, have they?
No. There's going to be dialogue as early as this morning with our professionals in the sports medicine areas on that particular topic. So we are not having our head in the sand. We are daily taking information, getting as many professionals involved in the equation. Matter of fact, at that meeting yesterday that I was at with Dr. Martin, Larry Antonucci, the CEO of Lee Health, was there. And if Larry had said in front of the president and others, hey, listen, I don't think you guys should be doing this, I'm sure last night there could have been a situation where we may have had no fans last night's game. So we're working in the trenches as a university for the safety of everybody involved, well beyond just athletics. And then we're a secondary piece of that. But if normalcy within reason can continue, we don't feel there's a reason at this particular juncture to change from what we've done, but time will tell.
Ken, as you know, how many? I mean, I guess the only way to say, like you said, you're going to meet. How many meetings do you expect to have? And I'm one of I'm one of these guys that hates meetings. And today, Ken, I'm all for meetings. I think the more meetings, the better. When you get off the phone with us, how many meetings do you expect to have from a standpoint of coronavirus between now and the end of business today?
There's at least 2 already. So, and then I have individual calls. I get phone calls from coaches, and just certainly want to know. And some of it isn't, hey, we're scared about it. It's like, hey, can we do this? Can we? David Rollins, our swimming coach, they're getting ready to go to the NCAA championship if they're still held up in Athens, Georgia, with Petra Hamar, a great breaststroker from Hungary. And hey, what do we do? Can we do this? What do we do about other elements of our daily lives that we just need answers for? So they're all tied in, but it starts with the university has been well ahead of this for several days, maybe a couple of weeks now, on a regular basis with all the professionals who need to have that discussion, and then we follow suit. So we're certainly just trying to continue to do everything we can to keep normalcy and at the same time follow the advice of the professionals.
How much pushback have you gotten, whether it's from season ticket holders or just anybody, in terms of, hey, I don't know if I agree with this, or, maybe, like, for what it's worth, Ken, our poll question, 90% think the game should go on Sunday at 3 o'clock, but over half think it should go on in an empty Alico arena. How much pushback have you gotten?
To be honest, I haven't gotten any. And again, people can make the decision within the realm of whether they're coming just by attending or not. But no, again, the people that don't want to come, that had already paid and we refunded, they've been very appreciative. And the ones who want to come are coming. And after the game again last night, they were saying, hey, do we get to come back? Others were standing in line at the ticket office buying their tickets. So at this particular juncture, based on all the information at hand, everybody's making decisions that we think are still prudent. And, again, this is fine. I barely got through biology in high school, so it's well above my head. But I just am in a position where until data is shown to us to say that, hey, we really shouldn't be doing it, I think we need to keep some sort of normalcy in our daily lives, and I hope that we're working through this on a prudent basis.
Ken, what are you hearing concerning the NCAA tournaments? I know the men's basketball team obviously is not in it, but the women figure to be in it no matter the result on Sunday. And, what are you hearing? I know right now the decision is to play, but play without fans. How solid do you believe that decision is? How solid is the ground, or do you think that that's shaky? Like, do you have any concerns that Sunday could be the last basketball game of the year?
Yeah, sir, I do. I mean, the way things are just going in a quick domino fashion, and in some ways I think too quick. I think when you make a decision to determine that you're not going to have a conference tournament, and at the same time you're saying that these two teams are going to play in the NCAAs, that conflicts in my thought process. When you say that you're not going to play a conference tournament, and, oh, by the way, we still have games scheduled, which we were one of the schools playing an Ivy League institution in tennis until it got canceled yesterday, I wonder what's going on. So I just think that there's a little bit of decision-making that's being done real quickly just based on copycat and concern. Well, if we do it, then, we're going to look bad compared to others. I think everybody should make what they think is the right decision every day of their life. This could certainly happen, but I heard again last night, like you guys probably did, now they're talking about possibly still having the Final Four, but doing it at a smaller venue. So we're just going to keep taking care of everything we can, and whatever happens is going to happen, because certainly we're not getting a vote in the matter. But we still need information such as, what is the equivalent of, living, whatever it is. There's some sort of thing with family members. There's a limited number of family members. Right. What's limited mean? Especially in this day and age where families are a lot different than they were, 20, 30 years ago. What does it mean for essential personnel? What does it mean? Are the bands and cheerleaders going to be able to go, or are they totally shut out? We don't know that yet. We're still preparing. If Monday night we get a phone call, we have like a charter flight, we have to put band and cheerleader names into the system. So there's some information that certainly has to be more determined. And at the same time, I think a lot of people are building, as Dr. Bradshaw used to say, building this plane and flying it every day.
He's Ken Cavanaugh. He's the athletic director at FGCU. Ken, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. And then I know you'll see David on Sunday at the game as you get more information as to what the NCAA is doing with limited attendance. Please share it with us, because we'd love to share it with our audience, and I think you'll get it before a lot of us. So anything you can share, we'd certainly appreciate, Ken.
We will. Just everybody wash your hands, and we'll make sure if you come to the arena, we got the opportunity for you to do that as well with hand sanitizers.
He's Ken Cavanaugh. Business as usual for now concerning FGCU athletics. Baseball team's got a 3-game series with Marist that begins tomorrow night, right on through Sunday. The women's basketball team, Sunday at 3 o'clock, will host Liberty in the ASUN Championship, and as of right now, you can get tickets.
And we also got a text during that, and I've not... in fact, as of 19 hours ago, the JUCO tournament still being held as scheduled. Someone asked about FSW,
right?
Their tournament starting, and just didn't even think about that. So I looked it up quickly. As of 19 hours ago, from the best I can see, the last time it was mentioned is that the JUCO tournament still to be held as scheduled for now.
And what's interesting is they have the women's tournament, I believe, in Lubbock, Texas, or just outside of Lubbock, and they have the men's tournament in Hutchinson, Kansas. We talked the NCAA tournament, and they send 8 teams per site in men's, and they send 4 teams per site in women's. They send 24 teams to Lubbock and 24 teams to Hutchinson. All right, it's a lot more people. Now, it obviously has far less fans, but just in terms of, you're just talked to Ken about limited attendance. Well, these 2 smaller communities are bringing in a decent number of essential people, if you know what I mean, to be able to pull off these tournaments. And I believe they have probably until Sunday, because these tournaments begin on Tuesday, I believe. I'm pretty sure the women play Tuesday. The men are going to play Wednesday, but the men have a first-round bye. So you figure, and they may even have to make these decisions Saturday night, because my guess is that teams would want to fly in sometime on Sunday. The earliest teams would fly in on Sunday. So the JUCO has about 48 plus hours to make their decision about this. And between now and the end of our show tomorrow, if something changes, we will let you know. It is our poll question, MillerandMoulton.com. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter. FGCU playing the women's final 3 o'clock on Sunday. We give you 3 options.
And the vote has changed quite a bit as the morning has gone on. Play with fans is a little over a third of the vote. Play without fans is a little less than half. The cancel numbers have gone way up. They've doubled.
Really?
So we're at 60, almost 65% that are either saying play without fans or cancel. 35%, that number has actually increased, the number that say play with fans.
All right. So right now, play with fans is number 2.
Is number 2. Play without fans is number 1, a little less than half. But cancel's now up to almost 18%.
So, okay. And the other way to look at it, though, is 82% say play the game. But you also have about 60% that are saying...
Don't have fans there.
That don't have fans and or don't have game.
Right.
So, interesting. So there you have it, MillerandMoulton.com, that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, and please vote.
And I really appreciate Ken coming on, and I'm guessing he's probably listening. The only thing I disagreed with Ken, and it wasn't worth arguing because it's his point versus my point, and they're just opinions. I don't necessarily think that these conferences are just following one another who goes first. I don't. I think that between the Ivy League canceling, which seemed very premature, and what happened last night, I think it's a natural reaction. I don't think it's copycat. I think it's a little bit of fear, a little bit of the litigation world we live in today. And that's, I guess, the point. If I'm running a university, if I'm running Hertz Arena, David, I would be for having the game with fans. I would be the guy in the room saying, I want to have fans there. But if someone said, look, if one of your ushers contracts
right.
it.
Oh, sure.
You know, I mean, we all know. I'm not going to get through all the scenarios. We're not worth it, and we don't have the time. But then you could be liable. Now you've put me in a fear position where I think in my best interest of my employees and my business, I should probably not have fans here.
The old play it safe.
That's all, and that's where I am right now. I don't necessarily think I would do this if I were in charge, but I think I could be persuaded into it because it seems to be the right course of it. I would rather err on the side of safety than on the side of stupidity.
I will, and I'm not a lawyer. Don't pretend to be one. Didn't sleep in a Holiday Inn last night. I do think you'd have a tough case winning against Alico Arena, Hertz Arena, etc. I think you'd have to prove that you contracted the virus there. I think that's a tough ask. I do.
You're probably right, but
So I'm curious what the lawyer in the room would say. You're sitting around, you're having your meeting. You got the business people, you got the CEOs, you got this, you got that, and then you got your general counsel in the room. All right, and I mean, obviously, we got enough lawyers listening and what have you. You could just text in Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line 249-8167, or you could call in if you'd like 249-8167. But my guess is that they would say, will we get sued if somebody, who comes to the game contracts it? Yes. Do I think we would win? Yes. Okay. You make your decisions as to whether to play accordingly.
And I think a lot would, what if one of your employees did? That's where,
there's no doubt.
Steve Elling, who we've had on the show a million times, golf writer.
Right.
One of the better Twitter handles on the planet, Elling Yelling, just tweeted out less than a minute ago. One of Florida's many nicknames is God's Waiting Room. It's America's retirement zone. Golf fans are the oldest in sports. TV demo numbers prove it. Yet the PGA Tour, hosting its own event this week, declined to limit fan access to TPC Sawgrass. Reckless, oblivious, typical. Well, and I think the one word he says in here that I think is correct is reckless. And I think having events with fans right now is being reckless. And I know I was the other way. I can change my mind. And I know your wife's probably chuckling if she were listening right now. I cannot believe what I have just heard.
She's glad you've come around.
And again, I wouldn't necessarily be for these decisions, but I am on the side of safety before recklessness. And it seems to be the smart thing to do.
And yet, when Craig Brush yesterday, and while Ken Cavanaugh of FGCU did not use these words today, he said to keep as much normalcy as we can until we have, evidence to prove otherwise. And Craig Brush yesterday said, hey, Disney's open. I mean, and I'm supposed to close? Make a dadgum good point. Miller and Moulton, your thoughts? It's one of these issues is our poll question. FGCU, the Women's Basketball Championship. What do you think they should do? Play the game as is? Play the game without fans? Don't play the game at all? I will say this. I think there is very little chance, like 1%, that between now and 3 o'clock Sunday that the game gets canceled. All right, I'm absolutely convinced of that.
I am too.
All right, now if Northern Alabama had beaten Liberty and Sunday's game essentially was for bragging rights, I mean, that's basically what Sunday's game would have been for, because FGCU, by a strange set of circumstances, would have already been assured of a spot in the NCAA tournament, and Northern Alabama can't go, and the only place they can go is the WNIT. Now, I think then it's a different story. But because there's an automatic spot in the NCAA tournament at stake, and one side of the equation, I know, the Liberty side, would have been like, hell yeah, we're playing. And don't worry about us. We've got our own charter plane. We'll take care of the coronavirus on our end. You just make sure that, the locker rooms are clean and we're ready to play. So that's why I knew as soon as Liberty won, well, we're having a game on Sunday. It's just a matter of whether or not there's going to be 3,000 people in the building or not. Attendance was down 20 or so % last night.
Right. You were looking for the number, and I couldn't find it on the box score when you were asking, but you said they're, around 2,500.
Right.
And they were just shy of 2,000 last night.
So attendance, you could say, was down about 25% last night. And so normally these women's finals draw in the 3,000 range. So then that could mean a crowd in the 2,200 range. Miller and Moulton. 249-8167 if you want to call in or text in via the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text and talk line. Ken Cavanaugh joined us on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Law Firm hotline. Local people, local practice, local knowledge, Goldberg-Law.com. Thanks so much for listening to Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Receiving. Over. Alexa, play Fox Sports FM on TuneIn.
LeBron has shown his greatness.
Steve Elling,
Kevin Durant's
not saying the PGA Tour is clueless, but when the brass heard the WHO reclassified coronavirus as a pandemic in the middle of Sawgrass Week, they said, get damned Roger Daltrey on the phone.
This is easy. Just say, Alexa, play Fox Sports FM on TuneIn.
Something worthwhile.
I didn't think it was going to be this easy.
This is a special coronavirus update from Wink News.
I'm Wink News anchor Corey Lazar. There are 3 new coronavirus cases in our state this morning, including one right here in Lee County. A 57-year-old man tested positive. Health officials do not know how he got sick. He's currently in isolation. The president this morning taking action to protect and prepare us when it comes to the coronavirus. The president telling the nation he has asked Congress to stop temporarily taking taxes from your paycheck. He wants the April 15th tax deadline pushed back for some of you. And the president also plans to help small business owners. He wants travel between the United States and Europe banned for a month starting tomorrow as well. And in an unprecedented move, the NBA postponing the season. For updates on coronavirus, trust Wink News. Facts, not fear.
If you've been denied Social Security benefits, here's something you need to know. The law firm you choose makes a big difference. In fact, Morgan & Morgan wins more than the national average in recovering Social Security for clients that were denied. That means that when you hire our lawyers, you have a better chance of recovery than with the average lawyer. And that's a really big deal. If you were denied Social Security benefits, call us. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Dial Pound Law on your cell. Pound Law, that's all. Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
Hey, it's Tony. Come in for the best corned beef and cabbage in town on St. Patrick's Day at Anthony's on the Boulevard.
Corned beef and cabbage lunch and dinner specials served with green beer are back. Join the party on the patio with Johnny and Leprechauns, also known as Tiger Blue. Check Anthony'sOnTheBoulevard.net for info. Anthony's on the Boulevard is the Cape's choice for live entertainment. Karaoke Mondays, poker and bar bingo on Tuesdays. Wednesday is trivia and live music on the patio. Every Thursday, national comedians take the stage, then dance the night away with live music on the patio. Check Anthony's on the BLVD.net or like them on Facebook for all the events. Anthony's popular daily lunch, only $9 with free beer or soft drink. Many items to choose from. Plus Anthony's best Sunday breakfast buffet served from 8 to 1. Made to order omelet station and free coffee. Anthony's on the Boulevard, 1303 Del Prado Boulevard South. Sign up at anthony'sontheboulevard.net to receive a free breakfast buffet.
Hey, this is Adam Botana from
Alex
Bayswater
Martin from the
Sousa
News
Boat
Press.
Club, the only
Messaged me on
family-owned
Twitter.
and operated boat club in
To me,
Southwest
this is
Florida.
very shocking.
At
The
Bayswater,
vast
we
majority
have
of
a
FGC's fan
contractual
base is 65 and
10-to-1
over,
member
which
to
happens to
boat
be the most
ratio.
vulnerable
That gives
demographic
you
when it
unlimited
comes to getting
access to over
coronavirus. All
40 of
major
our
conferences,
boats.
barge
Whether you're
spectators from
fishing
attending their
or just
respective
cruising,
tournaments.
Baywater
I'm-
has you covered. And
I'm with
folks, the water's beautiful, and it's
I don't know
only
how they're
getting
playing the
better,
game in front of
and
fans.
the fish are biting.
I think
Come
it's
on
reckless.
out. Want to keep the boats overnight? At
At
Baywater,
best.
anything is possible. This
And so
weekend,
we don't have
we're
to
holding
come.
an open house and running special pricing and no dues for 6 months. That's right, no dues for 6 months. Stop by and see the Baywater difference. Call me, Adam Botana, at 239-495-0455. That's 495-0455. Again, 495-0455. Find us online at bwboatclub.com or just Google
and I give
BW
credit
Boat
for the
Club.
refund. I
Baywater,
do,
the
but
exclusive club of
I
Southwest
can't
Florida.
believe
94.1 Estero.
There's a lot of roofing companies, remodeling contractors, home builders, granite and cattle guys, and then there's Tri-Town Construction, the area's premier general contractor, serving Lee and Collier
And he
counties
answers
for
it
the past
honest.
15
I mean, that's how
years.
you got to give a man
Tri-Town
credit for coming on
Construction
and
provides
speaking his
all your
mind.
building
No.
needs, from roofing to interior,
Like I said, I can disagree
exterior
with somebody I
remodeling,
interviewed,
and
but I can
custom
appreciate the hell out of
construction
him
of
coming
brand
on.
new energy-efficient homes. With Tri-Town Construction, one call does it all.
He's on
And when
a
it
roll.
comes to insurance claims for home and roofing repairs, Tri-Town Construction deals with the insurance company on your behalf. No other building contractor compares to Tri-Town Construction.
I mean, the man's on a roll right now.
To schedule an estimate and learn more about this environmentally friendly and community-minded company, visit tri-townconstruction.com. The last company you'll ever need for all your home repair, remodeling, and construction projects. Tri-Town Construction. Homegrown and here to stay.
Ever purchased an online item and either it doesn't fit, has missing parts, or became damaged?
God.
Trying to save a few bucks can end up costing more. My Shower Door is a locally owned and operated family business that measures, manufactures, and installs our own brand of frameless shower doors right here in Southwest Florida. And we were just named Lee County's Manufacturer of the Year. With almost 80,000 shower doors installed, we have the experience and expertise. Plus, estimates are always free. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdoor.com.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
It's 8:30 straight up. The home stretch of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. The Players' Championship, I'm guessing it's already underway in Ponte Vedra there. And players are not going to interact with the fans. That is a change that's been made here in the last 18 hours. No autographs, no interaction. You know, Phil will be bummed because, one, he doesn't like the course. So, I mean, the only enjoyment he's really going to get out of the tournament is the fist bumping of the fans from the green to the tee. And I guess, we'll see if Phil does that. But Major League Baseball, as of right now, full steam ahead, with the exception of certain teams have been given edicts from their mayors/governors, mainly in Seattle and the state of California. The Giants, I believe, start on the road, but Dodgers, Padres, and A's, I believe, start at home. Seattle starts at home. And it certainly looks as if the Mariners are moving their first two series against Texas and Minnesota to Arizona. It's just a matter of, are they going to play in the Diamondbacks ballpark, or are they going to play in a spring training complex in Peoria? Earlier in the show, I thought that meant Illinois. My bad. And Dodgers and Padres and A's are having to, make arrangements themselves. I mean, they've got AAA ballparks they could use. I think the Dodgers are in Albuquerque. So, be interesting to see. They've got plenty of time. Major League season doesn't start for what? Like another 11, 12 days?
Right.
So they've got time. But as of right now, no spring training games canceled and no regular season baseball games canceled. Meanwhile, the NBA has suspended. You've heard certain words used. It's not canceled and it's not postponed. They have suspended their season. I do think it's an important distinction. I don't want to get into semantics, but I do think certain words imply the season is never going to resume, and other words imply we're taking a hiatus, and we are looking to resume it as soon as the medical folks say now would be a good time to start playing again.
Bovada's released odds on whether March Madness will be canceled. Minus 220, no. Plus 165, yes. Those aren't that favorable, David.
Wait, can you run that by me again?
Will March Madness be canceled via Bovada? No is minus 220, and yes is plus 165.
Wow.
That's 2-1 that it's canceled.
Canceled?
Canceled.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
No.
We just went through postponed. Okay. That's why I wanted to be sure.
Did I stutter?
That's why I just wanted to make sure. Hey, Mark, you're not successfully married for 23 years unless before you walk out the door, you turn one back around and go, okay, I just want to check one more time.
Canceled.
Canceled? So that's all.
Well, and I mean, just little things I'm wondering. Like my mom, and you love Broadway. My mom and my wife are going to see Miss Saigon on Sunday. And, my wife goes, still going on. I go, as far as I know, everything I'm getting from the Bee says we're still on. But I started thinking about that. Who goes to plays at the Bee? Older audience.
Sure.
Who goes to FGCU women's games? Older audience.
Absolutely.
Who goes to spring training games? Older audience. By the way, who works at all of these venues?
Well, there you go.
Older audience. Or older workforce.
When I was driving into our cozy confines here at around 5 a.m. this morning, I was thinking, do you know what would concern me as much as anything if I was Craig Brush? My staff.
Yes.
Because the many, and I don't know if they're employees or volunteers, but I'm guessing
no
employees.
No. They're all
right.
They're all part-time employees, and they're mostly retired.
Right. They're older.
It's a little part-time job,
and they like it.
Yes.
And they've been there for years, and they're very good at what they do. But yes, we're an older community, so we figure to skew older in just about anything that is taking place in the 239.
Someone just asked, and thank you for this question, can you explain odds when they're given as hundreds as opposed to, say, regular 5-to-1 odds? It would be 2.2 to 1. Minus 220 means you have to spend $220 to win 100. And for it to be canceled, the plus 165 is if you wager $100, you would win $165.
Right.
So that's about a little over 1.5 to 1 return.
And the juice is
or 3 to 2, basically.
And the juice is usually 10. Like if you see minus 110, that's a toss-up.
Yeah, that's what all bets used to be. And the casinos have gotten much smarter because sports gambling is not a winner. Not a huge winner for Vegas.
No.
It's one of the lower winners.
Right, they win.
They win.
And they win almost every month. There's 3 months in the last 15 years in terms of betting football that the house has lost money. Literally, only 3 months in the last 15 years.
And I think the Patriots winning the Super Bowl was one of those months 2 years ago because a lot of money, people's on the favorites. It's happened to be one of those games that one of those months that they lost. And it may have just been in Atlantic City because of all the, New England bettors in that area.
They were able to get money in.
Right. But yes. So I hope you understand that. I hope that gave you a little more clarification because we do jump into the gambling world quite a lot on here, and I know not everyone gambles, so we want to make sure. But I do know most of you understand what odds mean. For the record, David, the Players is off. Rory Sabatini, 2 under through 4, is your leader.
Rory Sabatini, he will fade.
Well, of course he will. I'm just giving you he's the early leader. His belt buckle, he'll trip over it at some point and fall apart. But it has been what a wild yesterday. From 5 o'clock roughly when we find out that the NCAA is going to play without fans. Then
sorry to interrupt. There was the Sports Center conversation last night on the late edition in which a round table came to the conclusion 6-7 hours later, they're like, yeah, I don't think we're going to have an NCAA tournament at all. And now when Vegas, Mark, let's be honest, they're better at this than the rest of us. And when they're releasing odds and they're saying the favorite is we're not going to have an NCAA tournament. They're saying we are more likely to not have an NCAA tournament than to have one. Mark, 48 hours ago, that was almost unthinkable.
Yes.
Now, there's a couple of people I know that were actually saying it to me, and I, who have been pretty cautious about this and have been advising us to take this, I was ahead of the curve in comparison to you on this. And I was looking at some of my friends going, really? You think we're going to go that far? And they were going, oh, yeah, I think we're going to go that far. I asked you earlier in the show. We never answered it. The NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, they're longer seasons. They haven't gotten to the juicy part of what they do yet. You can suspend those seasons. You can kind of move things around.
Oh, no, you can massage this pretty easily for those leagues. I'm with you.
But what do you do if you're the NCAA? America concedes you a month. America says we are busy people, but you own us for March. You got us.
David, there was part of me yesterday hoping that the president put us on lockdown for a couple of weeks so I could just sit my fat ass in front of the television and watch 4 days of basketball uninterrupted. Because we'd have still done the show. You'd have done it from your house. I'd have done it from here, and we'd have been the happy. I mean,
let's be honest. If there's ever a time for a 14-day quarantine, it's the second half of March.
Right. Starting Tuesday through the following Sunday. I don't need it for Final Four weekend. I just need it so I really only need 7 days.
There are 5 boxes of Cheez-Its in my house. I looked at my wife yesterday and said, are you sure we have enough? And I mean, they're the big boxes, Mark. They are the big boxes. And I go, listen, you're preparing for a 14-day quarantine. I can tell you right now.
You don't have enough.
You do not have enough Cheez-Its. I mean, you're basically saying I can only eat a third of a box a day.
Honey, I want to explain to you, this may be a month for you. This is 4 days for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, this won't get me to the Sweet 16.
Hey, all I am saying is overtip your Grubhub, your DoorDash. Whoever is delivering you food over the course of the next few days, overtip them. Overtip them.
Miller and Moulton. NBA has suspended their season effective immediately. NCAA tournament plans on taking place, but with no fans. All of the major conference tournaments, Power 5, along with Big East, I am assuming also A10, because the A10's in Brooklyn and the Big East is in Manhattan. I think it would be a bad look for the A10 if in the Garden there's nobody. And meanwhile at Barclays, you've got fans. You may see video today of Nebraska men's basketball coach Fred Hoiberg looking very sick on the sidelines and leaving the game in the second half. He was taken to a nearby hospital in Indianapolis. He has been officially diagnosed with the flu.
I hope they're right, but they tested the guy last night, and we don't have the answers of the Utah players were tested, and we're sure this guy's got the flu. No. I think that's a fair question, David.
Well, listen, I'm just reporting.
I know, and I'm just asking you, the reporter, a question.
These are the facts that were given to me at present time.
Don't you find them to be odd?
Listen, I wouldn't have officially diagnosed it. I would have said, I know all of you are wondering, does he have the coronavirus? Okay?
We don't know.
We don't know the
We're
answer
testing
to that.
Because if they said he has the flu,
him.
does it say anywhere in there that he tested negative for the coronavirus?
Well, no.
Okay.
No.
And this guy's on the bench during the game looking like he's going to vomit. Nebraska's not winning the Big Ten title ever in basketball. Certainly not last night.
Well, no.
They didn't even show up to that tournament.
And, of course, the running joke, if you follow college basketball, is I can't believe it took all season for Fred Hoiberg to get sick watching his team play. That was a cheap shot, but if you're a Nebraska fan out there, you're nodding your head going, you got that right. Make a dadgum good point. Result of the poll question as we head to the good, bad, and ugly.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that, so let me get it up right here. What should FGCU do with their Sunday women's ASUN final? 48%+ of you say play without fans. 34% of you say play with fans, and 17% of you say cancel the game. But right now, almost 83% of you are saying play on.
My mom, who's a nurse and is listening, thank you, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom Moulton.
And text.
Hope I can get away with that without her getting mad at me. I'm very scared of your mother.
We used to, so was I growing up. We used to have a dish, a pasta dish. We called it Mama Moulton's. My mom says the flu test is immediate. You swab and you wait 60 seconds. So that's how they can confidently say he has the flu.
Can they confidently, she can answer me during the break.
You want to do this during the break?
No, well, she can't listen during the break. She listens on.
That's true.
So I want to ask her going to break, by saying he's positive for the flu, does that mean he's negative for coronavirus? My guess is no, but I'll wait for the answer, and we'll give you that on the other side. Miller and Moulton. Ma Moulton's answer plus
Miller Moulton and Mama Moulton.
Yeah, she may do a segment with us coming up later this week. We don't know.
Do not encourage that.
Baloney. Anytime you want, Ma Moulton.
Nope, absolutely not.
Hey,
nope.
Just so you know, Ma Moulton, he has no clue technologically what we're doing.
Well,
I'll give you my number. I've got no problem. He probably won't give me yours. His wife will. Don't worry about him. I can get around him very easily with that.
No moms and no wives on the show.
No wives.
It's like a special
No wives.
anniversary.
Moms are always allowed.
Well, Mother's Day. Okay.
Well, that's Sunday, and we don't do a show on Sunday. But Mother's Day week, we could have moms.
Right. That's why I said it.
I know that's why you said it. Anytime you want, Ma Moulton. Her answer, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's not on tap. What's on tap. All still ahead as we wrap things up on a Thursday. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening. Fox Sports Radio, we stream on Twitch TV.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I texted with a source last night. I said, what if the Miami Dolphins said to Jerry
that
Jones,
he doesn't have
we'll give
there's
you
a positive flu, say a negative coronavirus.
Dak Prescott. What would Jerry Jones do? Because to build a successful team, you have that quarterback who's not a financial drain. I think Jerry Jones would seriously contemplate that.
Dan Patrick.
And here they are.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
You've waited all year. Now it's here. Jeep Madness.
Got that same answer from David's mom. Thank you, Miller and Moulton fan. See his last comment.
Don't miss
Someone
the Jeep
has
celebration
raised
event
objection
at
to the
Galliana
wonderful
Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers. New Jeep
First
Renegade Latitude,
$189
$189 per month. New Grand Cherokee Laredo, $269 per month. New Jeep Gladiator Sport 4x4, $269 per
funny
month.
stuff
For
right
11
there.
Chrysler's, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams.
That's
Qualifying
funny stuff.
purchases
I gotta
with
do this
zero
with Dan
down
Ugly.
and no monthly
What Giro
payments
guy?
till
I haven't
September. That's right, zero down and no monthly payments till September. And exclusive of that offer, Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers will give you $6,000 minimum for any trade in any condition, running or not, at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday.
we knew
Call
about the Al Michaels
239-481-2600.
trade from Disney to NBC so that Disney could get Oswald back. But that's why now that the shoe's on the other foot, it's
Cathedral
like, what can
Roofing Innovations.
No, I didn't. I asked.
Now,
That's why I was the one that
Hurricane
asked.
a long time ago, but believe it or not,
that's
well,
why
problems with tile roofs, they
now-
continue to occur as a result. Now, many homeowners are just now feeling the effects of the hidden damage that occurred to their tile roof. Now, whether it's new leaks,
even
cracked,
give it
unsecured
24
tiles,
hours to get
these roofs
beaten up.
are living on borrowed time. Now,
He
tile
found out
roofs,
Rudy
by nature
Gobert
of their
was
design,
positive. He
are
said, yeah,
susceptible
we're
to
done.
lift and powerful storms
We're
like
taking time
hurricanes.
off.
When this occurs, your
We gotta
tile
get everything
underlayment can be
cleaned. We gotta get
compromised,
everybody
but
tested.
you would not realize it until possibly years later. Now,
This
with
is a
Cathedral
pandemic,
Roofing
and we
Innovations,
can't
you
have
get a
it
great
running through
roofing
our
company
leak.
to inspect your roof for any damage.
It
And just
seems
because you don't have
obvious,
leaks
but
doesn't mean
hey.
you don't have issues. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com.
I
They
give
are
Hanks
the
and
tile
Rita
experts
Wilson, by
in
the way,
Naples,
credit for coming
and they
up
will
with
start the
Awesome.
inspection process right away. Just
Awesome.
go to
Because I think it helps to let people
cathedralroofingnaples.com.
know, hey, anybody can get this.
Cathedralroofingnaples.com.
License
Totally,
number
I could not agree with you
133-1928.
Sometimes we just gotta take a moment.
That's what we got to do.
Take that deep breath
Take a breath and relax.
I'm very relaxed.
and say, damn, we're living our best life.
Yes.
From the MLB
Deep left center field. This one's got a chance. Gone!
to the NFL
Touchdown, 83!
Oh, I didn't.
to the NBA.
Yeah.
We're all laughing and just living and loving all of this.
Love it.
On Fox Sports Radio.
Welcome to Jimmy P's Chard. As you enter through the front doors,
All right, I
you'll
got-
know that you've
for the
arrived
record, I
in the
got
finest
40
steak and chop house in
one or 40
Southwest Florida.
shows.
All cuts expertly cut
For
with
the-
their very own butcher shop.
Yeah.
A true butcher block to table
I know,
experience.
we gotta eliminate
Three
some. I went
generations
to
of
John,
mastering Wagyu beef,
and I sent a
heritage
text to
Berkshire
5
pork,
friends.
poultry, lamb, and veal. The
Hey,
mood
but you
of
were
Chard's
doing a
nostalgic
game.
dining
When I looked
area
at that,
is
I was
upbeat,
just being
high
a
energy,
smart aleck.
and
He
casual
came back with
sophistication.
no comedy? So I'm
a
like,
friendly and
how about-
relaxed
how
place,
about
not
just-
fancy or stuffy. Chard's staff works hard
My-
to make
my
you
rational
feel at
ones, I
home.
couldn't
Come
say this
in
to you
and
once I got into the
unwind.
game.
Enjoy
My
an
only
exquisite
thought was
glass of
there's very
wine or
few
perhaps a
comedies
handcrafted beer
that
with
to
your
me are
perfectly
binge-worthy
charred
because
steak.
they're not
Afternoon
sequential.
or evening, anytime during the basketball tournament, it's going to be a wonderful
you know what I mean.
experience at Chard. Jimmy P's Chard on South US 41 in Bonita Springs. Jimmy P's Butcher Shop on Old US 41 in Bonita Springs. Online at jimmypschard.com. Welcome to Jimmy P's Chard. Stop in today and Tell them Jimmy sent you.
In life, it's best to have options. The more options, the better. But a one-size-fits-all approach is never an effective way to get the best possible outcome, especially when it comes to erectile dysfunction and intimacy with the one you love. The Ford Myers Men's Clinic has successfully treated over 30,000 patients in the network with a 97% success rate. We know better than anyone that a one-trick pony doesn't work with all men, and you deserve options. That's why men choose the Fort Myers Men's Clinic. We offer many different FDA-approved options to resolve your ED, not just one. And they're all administered by a Florida-licensed medical physician. No matter your age or medical condition, only the best clinical options to help determine what's best for you. If your doctor has only one option in treating your ED, then call the Fort Myers Men's Clinic. Don't trust the one-trick ponies. Trust the Fort Myers Men's Clinic. After all, 30,000 men can't be wrong. Call today for an appointment at 239-317-7777, 317-7777, or FortMyersMen'sClinic.com.
From the best headlines,
the best
dramedy to the worst.
It's the worst thing
I
ever
gotta
happened
watch
to anybody
this.
ever.
Prepare yourself and hide the women and children. This is Mark Miller's Good, Bad, and Ugly on Fox Sports Radio.
You're live.
For the good today, this is heroic. We go to Tennessee in a Holiday Inn Express, and this housekeeper didn't stay there, but she can no longer be called a housekeeper. She can be called a hero. She was doing her job, heard a woman screaming for help for a room. She knocked, and then the screams became muffled, so she called 911. When the deputies arrived, victim explained she was screaming because her boyfriend wouldn't let her leave the room. He was arrested and charged with domestic assault and false imprisonment. The victim advocate said the housekeeper's actions could have absolutely saved the woman's life. For the bad, we go to Japan. And while everybody is freaking out about the coronavirus, and I think in a lot of ways, rightly so, or at least being safe, Japanese men have gone to extreme methods. Since they can't seem to find masks to cover their face, they're doing everything they can. And many men in Japan are wearing women's panties over their faces in place of a mask. Even though the World Health Organization says wearing a mask doesn't really do much for you unless you're taking care of somebody who might have the infection, underwear don't seem to do anything. And for the ugly, we go to Miami, where 9 golf clubs were seized after they arrived from Colombia by Border Patrol because the shafts were filled with Peruvian marching powder. No word on whether that was a stiff or a flex shaft.
Really?
And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, March the 12th. This is 2020.
What's on tap?
You get out of here and let me watch my program. And close the door when you go because I don't want those mosquitoes coming in here.
Boy, is it ever. You said this is 2020? Boy,
yes, it is.
Ever. 10 NHL games scheduled for tonight. Besides the Blue Jackets, have you heard of any other games that are going to be played?
San Jose.
So San Jose, the Sharks, well, but they're not home tonight.
No, but I mean, those are the only two teams in the league.
It's the Blue Jackets and the Sharks who are not playing in front of fans.
As of this moment.
And the Blue Jackets are playing one of those games tonight at home against Sid and the Penguins. For what it's worth, the Lightning are home against the Flyers at 7 o'clock.
It's a good game, man.
It's a really good game.
It really is.
Separated by 3 points in the standings. You know what else is a good game? Florida Panthers at the Dallas Stars.
Woo, that's a good hockey night.
And that's at 8:30. There is no NBA.
No, there is not.
Thanks to the season being suspended, there is plenty of college basketball, and it starts early at noon on FS1 with the Big East tournament. Florida State at 12:30 on ESPN taking on Clemson. The Noles playing possibly for a 1 seed. I mean, they're ranked 4th in the country. Right now, they're on most bracketologists' 2 line, but Mark, the Noles with a chance. They win the ACC tournament. I put it this way. They win the ACC tournament, I think they'll knock Baylor unless they win the Big 12 off of the 1 line.
I like that. I don't think that – I mean, Baylor's very good, but if Florida State wins the regular season and tournament, I think they deserve to take them off of that spot.
And I think that's what will happen, and then it'll come down to either Baylor or Dayton for the last number 1. and I think they're going to give it to Dayton if Dayton wins the A-10.
Which they should, because the A-10's little off this year.
They haven't lost a game yet in conference. So you go right on through. Duke at 2:30, by the way, on ESPN, if you are so inclined. For all you Buckeye fans out there, Big Ten Network at 6:30 that you are playing Purdue.
All right.
Not aware of any FGC sports today. Baseball tomorrow. Blades are scheduled to play a home game on Saturday. And fans are, I don't know if encouraged is the right word, but hey, they're selling tickets. They're planning on seeing you there. So, got a full weekend of sports locally. Spring training's still going on. Twins are hosting the Orioles tonight at 6 o'clock.
All right.
And the Rays are in action at 1.
David, we have obviously a little over 21 hours before we sit back down and do this again. No. I'm going to take it. Give me one prediction of a cancellation that happens between now and our show.
Is there?
I got mine.
Okay.
Major League Baseball is going to push back opening day by the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't think so. My one would be that after getting beat up today, which the PGA Tour is going to be beat up, that they decide by the end of the day today that they are going to play the players without fans, or spectators as they call them.
Interesting. That's a nice call. I think hockey is going to get a lot of pressure today.
It's not, that's the one we should have gone with.
Well, I was going to, but I think that they're going to hold off as long as is humanly possible.
That's the one we should have gone with, though.
Well, I went bold. With my MLB.
Well, and I'd like to...
Because I think it also defers more Red Sox, not suspension talk. There's a fake Joey Votto account that put out a tweet that said something to the effect, wow, the NBA can suspend the whole season and the MLB commissioner can't even suspend an Astro.
Nice.
I mean, that's just solid.
It's a good line right there.
It's just a solid line.
That's some good Twitter work right there. But you and I both picked a league that very rarely takes a step back. I mean, let's face it, Major League Baseball and the PGA Tour, they're not really interested in what the fans have to think. And these are two organizations that are very much interested in the Benjamins. Period. End of sentence. Now, it doesn't mean the PGA Tour doesn't raise a ton of money for charity, whatever. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that they're in it for the cash. Period. End of sentence. And so you and I both coming out and saying, I think they are going to take a step in the next 20-plus hours in which they are going to sacrifice cash. I mean, come on now. We're talking 40,000 people a day at the Players. I mean, you start adding up ticket prices.
1 minute.
It's serious coin if they decide to not have spectators.
Oh, I got you. I mean, and I'm kind of laughing because I read Disney's take on this, and they have their own, charge of health. They have a doctor that's in charge. And basically, she wrote, I believe it was a woman who wrote, they're putting more hand sanitizer out. Well, that'll do it. I mean, the 3-hour line to get onto the Star Wars ride, don't worry there. Just have a lot of hand sanitizer.
I have to admit, that'd make me feel better if there wasn't a study that came out a year and a half ago that said that hand sanitizer really doesn't do a whole lot, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. But, well, okay, if it does something, I guess...
Something's better than nothing.
There you have it. We should turn that into a song, too. Miller and...
I thought that was kind of our show together. Something's better than nothing.
Well, we've had many different mottos over the years. Miller and Moulton, Dan Patrick Show's next.
We are Fox Sports.
F them if they can't take a joke. Thanks, everyone. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, great show.